Haram, yes, it's
I suggest let's start 8 o'clock anyway, so they will join.
Timer is
timer is in.
yeah.
It is.
Are we going to have it YouTube also, Khalid?
No, we will record it on cloud and then Alan would cut it and put it on YouTube. Yeah. I'll call Khurram.
CGD, how are you?
Good, alhamdulillah. How are you doing?
Fine. Can you use our background, please?
Can you send it, please?
Mariam, she will put it in the chat.
Yes, please. Oh, this is a C mark. Okay. Let me vanish for a second till I get the background.
It's right, sent.
Yes, I'm just updating it.
So now we have our MC here, our dignitaries, and timers here. I think Team Alifia, District Director, she's not attending as she have another commitment.
Khurram is joining. I
Yeah.
just called him. We can
Yeah,
start.
Sir Jajatar, please.
Good morning to all the distinguished Toastmasters and Toastmasters present here today. Let me welcome you all to the Parliamentary Procedures Workshop organized by Division I. So could I please get a smile from all of you and also a woken expression at least. All of you look really sleepy. So let's get energetic. Come on, guys. So before we get the meeting underway, I want to start by stating some few rules which we have to follow. One, try to keep your video on for as long as possible. Second, keep your mics muted so until they've asked you to unmute yourself. And third, try to avoid chatting while the trainers are speaking. This is to all of you, please try to avoid chatting in the chat box while the trainers are training. Next, we avoid talking about sex, politics, and religion also. And just to avoid any confusion during the workshop, all the role players are asked to rename themselves according to the criteria, which is the role that they're carrying out, followed by the name. With that being said, every individual has a mission, and our division also has a mission, which is to build new clubs and to support these clubs in achieving excellence. Now, I think it's time we get this show on the road. So to do that, I'm going to introduce a person that's going to be playing a very important role to that cause. She joined Toastmasters in 2019. She is so dedicated to Toastmasters that she actually married a Toastmaster also. She loves to travel and she will kill somebody if you try to eat her French fries, she will murder you. It's that serious. She is currently serving as the secretary for St. Paul's Toastmasters Club. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome your master of ceremony, Toastmaster Rincy and Philip. Toastmaster Rincy, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Blesson, for those warm introductions and for explaining me about very well. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you all to the Parliamentary Procedure Workshop organized by Division I, District 20, and I hope you all have a great day. To begin with, I would like to call upon the timer to let us know about the timing for the workshop. He is a Toastmaster since December 2016. His home club is Voice of Islam, and he has held all ExCom positions in the club. Born and brought up in Bahrain, put your hands together to welcome Toastmaster Salman Sagar.
Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. I'm Toastmaster Salman Sagar, your timer for today. And as my role of a timer, I have to keep track of time for the speakers. We have three speakers actually. So one speaker has 30 minutes, another speaker 1.5 hours, and another speaker another 30 minutes. So for the speakers for 30 minutes, which is Toastmasters Forum, I will be showing let me do it now itself. I'll be showing the green card at 20 minutes. After that, I'll be showing the yellow card at 25 minutes. And finally, I'll be showing the red card at 30 minutes. For DTM WOFA, I will be showing the green card at 1 hour. I'll be showing the red card at 1 hour and 15 minutes, and the red card at 1 hour 30 minutes. Same goes for DTM Imtiaz. The green card at 20 minutes, yellow card at 25 minutes, and red card at 30 minutes. With that being said, please try to keep, I would recommend everyone to keep to the timing limits. And over to you, Master of Ceremony.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Salman Sagar. Hope you all got the timings. Next, we have the addresses by our dear dignitaries. First, we'll be having the chairman's address. She is a passionate Toastmaster who believes and follows her traits, which is I never lose, I either win or I learn. A Toastmaster since 2013, she has served all club excom roles several times. She has achieved many positions and is active in 6 clubs. Let's all welcome the beautiful DTM Mona ma'am, please.
Workshop call to order. A gavel? Are we in a court? What is this, Mona? You told me that you want me to join something that is enjoyable. Gavel? Is it a court? Peace, mercy upon you all. BQD, DTM Khalid Abdullah, CGD, DTM Khalid Jalal, dignitaries, fellow Toastmasters, respective guests, good morning to you all. Why the gavel? Why my opinion has not been taken? What is a quorum? Did they say quorum? Why do they call it quorum every time? No, it is not quorum. Please just be patient. It is quorum. Okay. Why he have the right to vote? Why Wafa always have the right to vote 3 votes where I cannot vote? Many questions coming to our minds. All games, they have rules. Life, we are following rules. Even in Toastmasters, we follow a set of rules, set as parliamentary procedures and club constitutions. Do you know why? Because this will ensure that all of us are being heard. This will ensure that we can conduct an organized fashion meetings. This will also give us, or it will also let us achieve more in less time. It will create leaders, not any leaders, but effective leaders. That's why our PQD has listed this kind of workshops to be done during the term because of the many benefits that members can get. And he assigned Division I Director, Toastmaster Mariam Al-Nuaimi, to organize these workshops. And I have the honor to be the chairperson for these workshops. When I've been asked to organize or to chair these workshops, I was thinking, who are the perfect people that we can get information from, and they can share their knowledge with us. Just I look up in the sky, searching for a moon, where I found 3 shining stars that have been in different levels, work in different levels, from club until district. Imagine how many cases they face. Imagine how many solutions they have to find. And by practice, they reach this. Today, we are very lucky to have them with us, to share their knowledge, to get from their experience, and to develop ourselves in parliamentary procedures. Thank you so much from my heart to DTM Imtiaz Ahmed, or DTM Wafa Salman, and DTM Khurram Salman, accepting having you with us today, early morning, with your busy schedules, and share your knowledge to all of us. Thank you so much, and wish you all to enjoy these workshops and get benefit. Back to you, our MC.
Thank you so much, CTM Mona. Now comes the District 20 PQD address. He is the immediate past District 20 CGD for the year 2020-2021. His purpose in life is to lead his kids by a good example as a father to be followed, and that is why he joined Toastmasters. Let's welcome the ever-smiling DTM Khalid Abdullah.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies, Toastmaster Rinsi. I'm really so proud to see you today being the Master of Ceremonies for one of the district's events. I'm so proud of you, Toastmaster Rinsi. Club Growth Director, Simi, where is he? I don't see him around. I hope that, okay, he's there. DTM Khalid Jalal. Our District Admin Manager, Toastmaster PG Gittin, who was traveling here until 12 midnight, 12 last night. So thank you so much, Toastmaster BG. I can see, of course, the lady of the hour, Toastmaster Mariam Naimi, Division I Director. Chairperson, DTM Muna Al-Aqab, and the mastermind behind this event. DTM Imtiaz Ahmed, Speakers Bureau Chair, past District Governor, and past District 20 Directors, DTM Karam Salman and DTM Wafa Salman. I think I'm losing my voice. There are so many dignitaries. Division Directors, Area Directors, fellow Toastmasters of District 20, good morning to all of you. Thank you so much for being here today with us. I know it's a little bit early, even my voice has not yet woken up, but I know that we are here for a reason. And I'm really thankful for whoever joined now and whoever would be joining later on, because this is a very important session that not many might know that this is the importance behind that session. I've been having many stories behind that session, and I can assure you that we really needed to have that. And as what DTM Mona just said, we planned it in such a way that we have this parliamentary procedure before the first council meeting, which is happening next week. So there is a reason behind the schedule, and there is a reason behind why we chose and picked that specific time. Parliamentary procedure is so important, and I'm sure we have a line of speakers and presenters who would show you the importance of that. But I was really shocked by how important it is by a few incidents that I've been having, specifically in the past 2 weeks. I've been in a club meeting, and one of the members raised his hand during a business session, and he said, no one came to me and asked me for my opinion to stream on YouTube. Why are we having our videos on YouTube? And that's where I smiled. And I knew that the only solution for that is to go to the basics and use the parliamentary procedure. And through that, we managed, of course, to hear him. And of course, we hear the majority, and the decision was to continue with YouTube, but at least he was given the chance to express his opinion. In another meeting, without being very specific, I got a question of saying, well, that was not to me. Luckily, that was to our club growth director, because he was about to charter a club of certain specialty. And he said, why should we have that specialty? Toastmasters, this is against Toastmaster value. I should be joining any club whenever I want, wherever I want. Why should we close a club on a specific specialty? And I can see DTM Khalid now is wrapping his head. Of course, that day he was going through a tough time explaining the club constitution and why do we have such important basic steps in any club. And that was really another alerting moment that we need to have such events, and we need to have such awareness, not just for our members, for ourselves as well. We need to remind ourselves on why such rules exist and why are they important. Thank you so much for all of the presenters for being here. Thank you. Specific thanks to DTM Mona Al-Aqab for orchestrating all of this as chairperson, as PQD training coordinator, and of course, not to forget the other training coordinator who has been instrumental as well, DTM Jahangir Khan, who I'm sure he will be here in any minute. Toastmaster Mariam Naimi, I did not choose that for you. She jumped into it. She jumped into it. When I listed all of the sessions, all of the events, she wanted to be there. And I can see the soldiers behind the scene as well, who are here in organizing this beautiful event. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Let's enjoy today's session. Over to you, Master.
Thank you so much, GTM Khalid Abdullah. Next, we have the District 20 CGD address. He is an IT professional who loves to talk. He wants to be a public speaker after his retirement, and that is why he joined Toastmasters. Put your hands together to welcome the handsome DTM Khalid Jalal.
Master of Ceremonies, can you please repeat the last sentence you just mentioned?
I'll Handsome DTM Kalechayal.
Once again, please.
Handsome DTM Kalejalal.
Thank you very much, because I was told this will be streamed on the YouTube. So thank you very much for that. Thank you, Master of Ceremonies, the food lover of St. Paul Toastmasters Club, the dignitaries of District 20 or District Director in her absence, TTM Alifia Lagdawala, Simi, the whole world confused our names and emails. I'm still waiting, by the way, for the day someone confused by sharing his credit card information with the code to me, so I can utilize that as well. DTM Khalid Abdullah, Division I Director, DTM Toastmaster Mona to be DTM, DTM Mona, Event Chair, DTM Mona Akab, my indirect mentor, not official mentor in Toastmasters records, but indirectly she's my mentor. Our great speaker of today, distinguished Toastmaster Imtiaz Ahmad, mentor of everyone in one way or the other, and the guru in Toastmasters and parliamentary procedures. My another direct mentor, distinguished Toastmaster Khurram Salman, who's also speaker today, and our speaker I just saw, but she's not visible. One of the most beautiful mentor I have, distinguished Toastmaster Wafat Salman. All the division directors, area directors, members, and guests, very good morning to you all. Leadership is not what we read in books. Leadership is what we practice and demonstrate in our real life, isn't it? Exactly. So before going further, let me extend my sincere apology to Bahrain Distinguished Toastmaster as the Club Growth Director of District 20 for a confusion which was caused, and it has upset the club ExCom, at least, if not the other members. But as we say, leadership is what we practice and demonstrate. So thank you very much, Distinguished Toastmaster Munal Akab and Distinguished Toastmaster Khurram Salman, for showing and demonstrating the leadership skill and resolving the conflict just blink of an eye, and everything got resolved. And that shows why parliamentary procedures are important, how communication is also important. I remember a joke. I was attending a physical meeting about 3 years ago in ABC Toastmasters Club. There's one lady, she came and she was giving a speech on how ladies gossip. And the topic was ladies do not gossip. And she talked about everything and she said, I'm not gossiping. And the whole meeting was gossiping. Then I started relating that to a corporate world, because I'm from a corporate industry. How the gossiping happens in corporate world, especially at the time of bonuses and increment. And this is the increment time, by the way, in the corporate world. So this joke came to my mind. I'd like to share it. And this really demotivate a lot of employees because they start talking to each other in a way which is not appropriate. And those who are in the corporate world and those who have contacts in corporate world, I really request you all to ask them to attend parliamentary procedures, because parliamentary procedures are not only for Toastmasters. It's for individuals to learn. See, parliamentary procedures are used in parliament, which is the government. They use it to control things. They use it to bring policies to the government, which we follow. And I'm still waiting for the final policy to be announced on the retirement, so I can decide whether I'll take my retirement or not in December. So these are really very important in our real life to practice and follow. And that's why we have the best of the best trainers today who are here to train us. I'd like to congratulate Division I, not only arranging this event today, the parliamentary procedure, which is the need of the hour, but also congratulate you, Division I Director, for achieving 50 plus renewals. And I'm sure by end of September, we'll have more renewals from Division I. So thank you very much for your leadership in terms of encouraging your members for renewals. With our MC, once again, Thank you, MC, once again for making me so handsome in this world and everyone is looking. And I'd really like to thank all our speakers today for taking the time out and enriching all our members, including myself, with the parliamentary procedure. I'm sure what we hear today, it will not be very boring, DTM Mona. It will be very interesting and we all enjoy and we'll take it in our clubs, in our real life, in our corporates, in our workplaces to make sure we use them in the right way for the benefit of ourselves and our employees. Thank you very much, our beautiful Rincy, the food lover, beautiful Rincy, the food lover, beautiful Rincy, the food lover. Back to you.
Thank you so much, CTM Khalid Jalal. Our last address for today is by our Division I Director. She joined Toastmasters since 2013, a dedicated and passionate Toastmaster who is always ready to take up any role asked for. Put your hands together to welcome the beautiful Toastmaster, Mariam Al-Noemi.
Thank you, MC, for a wonderful introduction. BQD DTM Khalid Abdallah, CGD DTM Khalid Jalal, dignitary, fellow Toastmaster, a very good morning. Today, the workshop with experience and Guru and Toastmaster. When DTM wanna choose the three experienced DTM Wafa, DTM Ali, and DTM MTOs, I was very happy to listen this name because I worked with them during 2019-2020, and I see the leadership skills. As DTM Khalid Abdallah said that I had choose this workshop. I chose this workshop because I found some of the Toastmasters, they will not say that they are facing a problem, but they need to know more about these rules and how is the parliamentary procedure to help them to know their word and to understand when they can see they can do the parliamentary. Thank you, Master of Ceremony, and back to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now we have come to the end of our first session. Next, we have the most exciting educational session. Let me just remind you, after the speeches, there will be a Q&A session. So I request you all to send me your questions to me personally in the chat box. Our first presenter for today is a speaker, leader, communicator, and humanitarian. He believes that tiny thoughts are the catalyst for tremendous transformation. Let's give a round of applause to welcome DTM Kuram Salman.
Thank you, MC of the day. Ladies and gentlemen, all district officials past and present, can you all hear me and see me clearly? Perfect. I will now begin by sharing my presentation. First of all, as I've always said, attending any morning meetings, kudos to all of you for waking up. You know, it takes a certain type of courage to be up and early in the morning, and you all are here bright and early to learn, and it is an honor to be presenting to you. Let me just share my screen. Once I do, I just need to hear somebody tell me that you all can see the screen.
We can.
Yes.
Perfect. Lovely. All right then. Parliamentary procedure is the foundation. Now, of course, as described by the agenda and by the whole thing as going further, the whole workshop and the topic of parliamentary procedures is such an in-depth topic that it cannot be covered even within a days of just workshop. This is something that requires practical training and practical aspects of things. Now, just a minute, let me adjust this. The way we divided the whole thing is that in this half an hour, in the next half an hour, I'm just going to take you through some sort of foundation to create some sort of an image of what parliamentary procedures are. And then in the next hour and a half to that, myself and the team of will be taking you through some sort of application, because learning without application is just on paper. So we need to have that practical application of it. But I just wanted to put up a disclaimer from the very beginning that this is not everything you need to know about parliamentary procedures in the whole world. It is just everything you need to know that is relevant to you in the world of Toastmasters for parliamentary procedures in terms of the club and in terms of the district to most extent as well. Now, we're going to go through what are parliamentary procedures, even though we've sort of covered that. We're just going to look into that into a bit of a detail. We're going to look into why do we even have all these parliamentary procedures? And we're going to put the procedure in the parliamentary procedure in terms of the order of business, how it's established, and the quorum that we're going to be established, which is oddly very similar to my name, as DTM Mona pointed out as well. And then we've got all these types of motions, and there's different types of motions all around. We're going to be covering 4 of them today, and we're going to look at how to present a motion. And that is something that I would really need your undivided attention in once we come to it, because that is something that I believe is not very well practiced in our world, how to present a motion. It's not how to present a story. And then we've got a point of order, and we can talk about that because that will be used quite a lot in our council meetings and in our club meetings as well. We're going to look at something called the chairman's conduct, as to how the chairman should preside in a meeting. And then we're going to have an activity preview going further into the meeting. All right, let's jump right into it. So what are all these parliamentary procedures? Now, when I was a Gavilier growing up, I practiced parliamentary procedures on the spot. And let me tell you, it was not in a good way. Now imagine, you're a young 12, 13-year-old Gavilier. You are president of the club you're residing in. And as you stand up to present your whole business session, you get stopped at every single mistake that you're making. That was my mentor, DTM Najib Razak. Now, of course, being the young guy, me standing over there, I was always like, why is he, could he not have told me later on, or what's happening over here? But in retrospect, throughout the establishment of my club and going further as well, I am so grateful that he pointed out at the spot, so I learned at the spot, and that is how I learned parliamentary procedures. And I used to look at that time, DTM Najib Razak, DTM Dayas, we had DTM Ali Shabazz, and all these leaders talking about parliamentary procedures. And I used to think that is something very, very big, very, very heavy at the time. And now I am here presenting to you about parliamentary procedures. So lesson learned, anything is achievable. It comes through years of experience coming in as well. And I'm glad that I'm able to share the knowledge that I've gained with parliamentary procedures as well. What are parliamentary procedures? Simply put, it is a set of rules for conduct at meetings that allows everyone to be heard and to make decisions without confusion. Right? It was made by Henry Martin Robert, which is this Army general right over here. Now, a couple of keywords in there. It is a set of
You lost him.
Yeah.
meets for meetings. Can't we just sit and talk and be like, okay, we just talk about it. What do you want? What do you want? Can we come to this decision?
Point of order.
But that point of order, the
Yeah,
chair acknowledges.
we lost you in between. If you can just go back to the military guy and.
Oh, okay. That is parliamentary procedures in action over there. Perfect. Okay. Lovely. So going back to it, it is a set of rules to conduct at meetings that allows everyone to be heard and to make decisions without confusion. And this is made by this Army general right over here, Henry Martin Robert. Now, if you look at the rule book or the actual book of parliamentary procedures, it is about this thick. And it has so many things, so many examples. And I've only held it, to be honest. I haven't read it throughout. And at the moment I held it, I'm like, yeah, I need a summary version of it. And that is something that I have read. So it is a set of rules. Now the keywords over here is a set of rules for meetings for everyone to be heard and to make decisions without any confusion. Now, why do we need it? Why can't we just sit together, sing kumbaya, and come to decisions together, right? Why is it that we need a certain set of rules and orders in order for us to go ahead and have this thing done? Let me actually hear from some of you who are a bit experienced, who know about these things as well. I would encourage the younglings actually, and not the district officials who have been there, done that, to please participate. So why do we need parliamentary procedures? Can anybody just unmute themselves and share their experience? I don't hear anybody. Am I still audible? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes, you're audible.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask that question quite a lot. Yeah, so just be ready. And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Can you
because
guys
you
hear
didn't
me?"
ask the beautiful people to join to
Mona,
answer.
are you saying that the younglings are not beautiful?
No, no. You have to say young. You have to say young, smart, beautiful flowers. Then they will.
What did you, Mona,
as
say?
well.
Can anybody unmute themselves and share this before I pick somebody? All right, I see our Chief Sergeant at Arms, Toastmaster Blesson, smiling bright and early this morning. Blesson, tell me, what do you think? Why do we need parliamentary procedures?
It gives you a structure. It gives you a meeting structure, I believe. That's why you need parliamentary procedures. And
Absolutely.
and also it would serve as a bar for differentiating you from a club or anything that is just meant without a purpose. It would give you a purpose also, I believe.
Absolutely. So very important key points mentioned by Toastmaster Blesson over there: purpose, structure. And that is very well true, because without these things, we're just running a circus, are we not? Right? So it's just that sort of a thing that we in our meetings need a proper structure. We need to know what are we doing, how are we doing it, in order for us to be evolved Homo sapiens as we are. So why are we doing this over here? It is to maintain order. It is to have some sort of a structure to whatever decision we're making, to however we're coming and arriving at those decisions. It is a chance to be heard, and especially for the minority, because many a times the major voices, the majority voices, drown out the minority voices. But parliamentary procedures following them ensures that that does not happen. Enable the assembly to express its will. Keep that in mind. Assembly is everything. Doesn't matter who the chair is, doesn't matter who the vice chair is, and whatever's been happening. It's the assembly that holds the utmost power. And it enables, parliamentary procedure enables the assembly to express its will. And it is a fair and impartial chance for all. It gives everybody who wants to speak a chance to speak. And that is how everybody is heard. Now let's put the procedure in parliamentary. We're going to look at something called club's order of business. So now, even all those district officials, I want you to come to the framework in your mind for a club. Because keep in mind, our foundation, Toastmasters International, at the heart of it, of course, is a member. And member is part of what? A club. All of us present over here, the international president or the board of directors, their journey, all of it starts with a club. So to understand a club's parliamentary procedure and how the order of business is conducted in a club is very, very crucial, because everything from then just scales up at the area, division, district, and beyond level, right? So I'm going to give you 3 options over here for everybody. And I'll give you 1 minute, and I need you to have a look at that order of business and tell me which one do you think is the correct order of business. And your time starts now. After this, we'll launch a poll, which I will request our moderators to help out with. And the options will be 1, 2, 3. That was an oops moment. All right, brilliant. We've got 10 seconds. Put your votes in. All right, brilliant. I don't know if you can share the results of the poll, moderator. If you can't, I'll just read it out. We've got option 1, 9 out of 12 people have voted for it. We've got option 2, 1 person has voted for it. And we've got option 3, where 2 people have voted for it. So we still have about 2 to 3 people in this audience who really need to attend this workshop. And I'm very glad because at least I'm doing it for those 2 to 3 people. Now, most of you are absolutely correct. It is club's order of business. These are the set of rules of how a business session for a club is conducted. We've got the call to order in the beginning. That is very, very important. And that is something that even DK Mona did for this workshop. She called the workshop to order, right? There's reading and approving of the previous minutes of the meeting. There are reports of officers and standing committees. There are special orders that we're going to discuss and cover. There's unfinished business, which is from the previous meeting that comes in. Then, of course, there's the new business session, and that is very crucial because that is where everybody raises all the motions and any new business to be conducted to order. So up until this point, everything is predetermined, everything is well known as to what's happening. And then at the end, you've got the announcements at adjournment. But here's the twist. We also have 2 more points of order over here in the order of business. Who can tell me what the second part over here is? And now the district officials can most definitely participate.
Read out and approval the minutes of last meeting.
That is already point number 3. What is the point
sorry,
that comes before that?
Establishing quorum.
So that?
Establishing quorum.
Absolutely. So it is roll call and establishment of the quorum. Brilliant. I don't know who said that, but because I can't see the people over here while I'm presenting, but kudos, thank you. And then we have, perfect. Of course, it's my idea as well. So proud of that. Point number 5. Who can tell me what the point number 5 is? Now that is something that even I learned at quite a later stage in my journey as well. And we didn't really know about it until I really got into depth and studying about this point. What can anybody tell me what point number 5 is? Going once, twice, and reports of special committees. Now that is something that is usually overlooked. We have standing committees they're going to talk about, and we know that the reports are coming in. But then there are special committees that are assigned for specific purposes. And this is where the report comes in. So take a snapshot of it if you want. This is how a club's business session should operate. But many a times I see that we skip some of these things going in further as well. But all in all, if you're following parliamentary procedures the way we should, this is how the whole thing should look like. All right. Now let's look into a couple of things. Many of them are self-explanatory. You know what roll call is, you know what establishment of quorum is, you know what we need to do about reading and approving previous minutes of the meeting. But what are these other things as well? Now, of course, over here, reading the previous minutes of the meeting is a motion to approve them is not necessary. Just a point that I wanted to mention, unless there are amendments. So if the minutes of the meeting are as they have been read, it is not necessary for you to raise a motion to have it seconded and for you to have it voted upon. The chair can declare it adopted. But if there are any amendments or anything like that, then a motion has to be raised, and we're going to talk about motions in a bit in order for it to go ahead and be adopted as well. Now, of course, there was no quorum. So if there was no quorum in your previous meeting, it is very, very important that in the next meeting, the minutes of the meeting are adopted when there is a quorum present as well. Now we've got right over here the reports of officers and standing committees. We've got officers report from the club officers, which is of course your 7 executive committee members. Then we've got standing committees like the audit committee. The audit committee is supposed to be there, which I'm sure might come as news to many of our members over here as well. Our club has an audit committee. It should. Whether it does or not is a separate question, but it definitely should. And a lot of clubs I know over that as well. And then you've got like social committees and stuff like that as well. For example, organizing social events. And you can have a social committee throughout the year to organize that as well. Now we've got special orders, which is designated by the bylaws to be conducted at a specific meeting, such as the nomination report or the elections. Now the elections, as we know, are supposed to be held when? When are we supposed to hold elections for the club?
Would be before the DTAC, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Very specific 20th, inshallah, of May.
That, before that, is when you're supposed to have the elections being held and the nomination report before that as well. So there's the order of business to these things when it comes as well. Now, the unfinished business is the next part, and that is, of course, any previous business that we didn't take into account or we couldn't take into account because of time got up or there was something that was raised to be postponed to the next meeting. That is considered to be unfinished business from the previous meeting. And then, of course, you've got new business coming in. And the last part is announcements and adjournment. So really quick recap, we've got a call to order. Of course, the chair has to call the whole business session to order. We've got roll call, which doesn't happen in normal settings, but in establishment of quorum, where the quorum is properly announced and talked about. We've got the reading and approval of minutes of the meeting of the previous meeting. And if there is no quorum in the previous meeting, or if there were amendments, this has to be raised in order for them to be adopted. We've got the reports of officers and standing committees, like the nomination report. We've got report of special committees. Special committee could also be created to look into the club's budget, for example, or to look into increasing the fees of the club, or a committee that is tasked with making sure that the logistic is changed or to look for a new venue. All these are considered special committees that are there for a specific time period. And we've got special orders coming in where we've got nomination report and elections and stuff like that. And then we've got new business, that is unfinished business going to new business, and then announcement and adjournments coming in. All right. Now let's look into this part, which always I would walk into a meeting and people would be like, oh, quorum is here, let's start our meeting. So let's look into how we can do that as well. You know, I'd be honored, but let's look into how we actually do it in terms of parliamentary procedures. Now, there are 3 aspects to it. We've got the club, the district excom, and the district council. And how this whole thing is established is very, very important for you to know. For the club, it is 50% plus 1 of the active club membership, and that is a keyword over here. Now, what is active club membership is something that DTM Imtiaz is going to go in details during his presentation about club constitution and addendum. So what is active club membership? That's where that comes in. The district excom is 50% plus 1 voting members of the district executive committee, which is your area council, your area directors, division directors, and you've got your district executive committee as well, excluding logistics manager and Hakka as well. To keep that in mind there, those are not voting members of the district executive committee, although they hold the same responsibility and value and respect for the others as well. District council, which is coming in next Friday, I believe. Their quorum is very, very important because a lot of time people think that it is also 50% of the people who are present, but that is not true. It is 1/3 of the presidents and the VP education. And for the majority in that, it is 2/3 of the people who are attending, right? So that's how that part is calculated. Now, in order for us to understand it more, let's do a little bit of kidsy bit exercise. A club has 30 members. 24 are active, 4 are inactive, and 2 are honorary. Once again, all these terms we're going to talk about in DTM Imtiaz's workshop. What is the club quorum? Let's have the poll launched. Moderator, can we launch the poll? There we go. Okay, now this is interesting because we've got about 6 people who voted for 12 to be the quorum and 3 people who voted for 14 to be the quorum. The actual answer is, which majority of the people have answered as well, is 13. Now let's look back into it. 24 active members, 4 inactive members, 2 honorary members. Now, inactive members as defined and honorary members as defined do not constitute 2 words. They don't have voting privileges. They don't have voting rights in a club. It is only the active members who have that. Half of 24 is 12 plus 1, 13. So once you have 13, that constitutes your club quorum. You have 13, you have a full house, you can go ahead and make decisions, and you do not need them to be ratified afterwards as well. And ratification is something we're going to cover. Let's look into this now. District 20 has 146 presidents and 146 VPEs, obviously, because there's about 146 clubs. Now, this I took just from the dashboard. Of course, they're going to look into details about clubs that are not active, clubs that are not happening. That's a different thing that come in. But let's look at the number of clubs that are mentioned on the dashboard. What is the quorum for the presidents and the VPEs? How many people do we need on next Friday for us to make decisions and have a full house? Can you have the poll launched? We've only had 15 people answer the poll. We've got 42 in attendance. Of course, a lot of them are co-hosts. They can't vote. What about the rest? And just FYI, I put these breaks very strategically so I can, sip coffee and have it my morning step coming in. Okay, brilliant. Let's send this. We've got about 11 people out of 21 who voted. That is 97 as they went with for the quorum. About 6 people voted for 146, which is half of the total number of people in attendance, and about 4 people voted for 150. I don't know who those 4 people are, but you guys need coffee. So ladies and gentlemen, third of 146 plus 146 would come to 97. So you need 97 presidents and or VPEs in attendance for the district to have a full house for them to make decisions. Now, how do you calculate that? It's very, very simple. You add 146 plus 146, or the total number of presidents and VPEs, and divide that by 3, and you get your magic number right over there, because that constitutes a third of the whole thing. Now, I am running out of time, so I'm going to rush really quick with a couple of things that are coming further as well, and that is motion, which is very, very important, right? Now, there are 4 types of motions that we're going to cover. We're going to talk about the main motion, the subsidiary motion, the privileged motion, and the incidental motion. The purpose of the main motion is to introduce items for members to their consideration. It is very, very simple. One thing that I need all of you to understand as much as possible, main motion, and when you're moving a motion in front of the House, it is not a story. It has to be in a specific way. You will get your chance to explain what you want to put to the House as well, but the motion has to be raised in a very, very specific way, such as I move the motion to the House, or I move or I propose. All these things are considered as motions. They cannot be made when any other motion is on the floor. So you have to make the motion, the main motion up first, and then you go ahead. For example, I raise the motion as a member of the club to increase the club's fees by 2 BD, right? That is a motion on the floor. If I get a second, it can be taken into consideration. Then comes in the yield to privileged, subsidiary, and incidental motion. So if there's a main motion and somebody raises a privileged, subsidiary, or an incidental motion, they will yield to it, which means the other motions take precedence over it. Subsidiary motions, their purpose is to change or affect how a main motion is handled. it is voted on before a main motion. So there's a motion on the floor that says I raise or I propose to raise the club fees by 2 PD. A subsidiary motion could be I amend the main motion to increase the club fees by September or by October in our case. So by next month, it adds things into it. So you can add things, you can amend things, you can strike out things. So I strike that, new part shouldn't be considered, or other things shouldn't be coming in out of the main motion and the way the motion is stated. So a subsidiary motion is to amend, enhance, or add onto the main motion, because many times a main motion cannot be considered, but a subsidiary motion is acceptable to the House, and that's the route that we would take. Privileged motions their purpose is to bring up the items that are urgent or special or important, unrelated members to pending business. Now, it doesn't have to do anything with the main motion. For example, a member in the House and the Assembly could say, I raise a point of privilege. The chair, after acknowledging, the member could come and say that we members sitting at the back of the hall cannot hear you. It is things to do with your personal comfort as well. We cannot hear you. Can you please raise your voice? Or different things like that. It's too cold in the room as well. That is also considered a point of privileged motion as well. And privileged motion also has order of the day, by the way. So if, for example, the chair missed out an item on the agenda and they overlooked, or a committee's report that was supposed to be there is not there, so anybody can raise a point of privilege so that people can look into it, and the chair acknowledges that and then come back to the matter as well. Incidental motions are the ones that provide means to question procedure concerning other motions. So if there's a motion on the floor, if you don't have another motion, you don't want to amend it, it's not a substitute motion, but you want to enhance or just have questions about the motion, particularly on the floor, you can bring up an incidental motion. Your points of information, for example, could come in as well. Your points of question could come in as well. For example, if we're talking about the particular case where it raised the fees of the club, an incidental motion could be, I raise a point of incident to let the club treasurer tell us how much money do we currently have in our account. And it must be considered before any other motion that come in as well. Even, for example, division of the assembly or division of the question, if the question is too long and it needs to be divided, considered separately into two different parts, this is where we will consider in that part as well. Now, how to present a motion, and this is something that I wanted to get to, which is why I sort of rushed through the previous part as well. This is very, very crucial in the way that it happens. First, we're going to go through step by step as to how it happens, really quick, and then we can go into, don't worry, we'll be practicing it in the next session as well. First step is to obtain the floor. Wait until the last speaker has finished, rise and address the chairman by saying, Ms. District Director, because our current district director is a lady, and then we've got Mr. President, and we'll have a motion over here. Wait until the chairman recognizing you. I see that my light is red, but I will request to Kim Wafa if I can get 5 more minutes just to get, because I'll be eating from your time as well. Can I get a thumbs up if I can see you on the screen? Wafa, are you okay with it? Perfect, done. So we have wait until the chairman recognizes you. Now, then make your motion. You have to speak in a very clear and concise manner. Always go with, I move that we, or I move that we do not, or I move to the floor. Avoid personalities and stay on your subject. Just avoid stories. Avoid stories at this part in time. You will get your point or your chance to present the whole motion, explain why you're doing it. But this is the point where it has to be very specific to the point of the crux and the point of the matter as well. Wait for someone to second your motion. Now you've obtained the floor, you've got the attention, the chair has recognized you, you have stated your motion, you've stated your intent or what you wanted to do. You need to wait for someone to second your motion, because if the motion is not seconded, it is disregarded, it is lost, and it is not considered before the House anyway. Now, seconding the motion does not mean that you agree completely with the whole thing. It just means that you think, whoever is seconding, is that this is something worth considering. So it could be that you haven't made up your mind about it. That's okay. But it's just that I think it's worth considering in front of the House. That is where seconding your motion comes in. Another member will second your motion, or the chairman will ask for a second. Sometimes somebody would raise their hand and be like, I second the motion. Or if the chairman is there, they would ask, do I hear a second? If there's no second to your motion, like I mentioned, your motion is lost. The chairman will then state your motion. Chairman will say it has been moved and seconded that we do whatever. Thus placing your motion before the membership for consideration and action. The membership then either debates your motion or may move directly to vote. Now here's something I want to talk about, that is House of Rules, or rules of the House, sorry. Rules of the House can predetermine how a motion is debated on. Usually for us, the precedents that we follow at District 20 is that 2 people will speak for 2 minutes in favor and 2 people will speak for 2 minutes against the motion if there are any. And it goes favor, against, against. And the person who has presented the motion will only get the chance to speak on it again after all the others have spoken. Once a motion is presented by the chairman, it becomes assembly property and cannot be changed without the consent of the members. So once you've set the motion out, that's it. It has to be presented or amended by a subsidiary motion or further means. Expanding on your motion is something I was mentioning. This is the time for you to explain why are you talking about this. The mover is always allowed to speak first. All the comments and debates must be directed towards the chairman. Of course, there's a time limit. As per District 20, we usually allow 2 minutes, and the mover may speak again only after all the other speakers are finished, unless called upon by the chairman as well. I like how Sagar is also timing me for 5 minutes further. Thank you, Sagar. I appreciate that. Now, putting the question to the membership, now is the time. So after the motion has been presented, explained, now is the time that we go ahead for voting. Now, the chairman asks, are you ready to vote? And if there's no more further discussion, we go for voting. There are many, many ways you can take your voting. In our current method, of course, we would take a poll. In other methods, there used to be all those in favor, stand up, sit down, say yay, say nay, or raise your hands. And the yays have it, or the no's have, nays have it. That was a very fun thing to do, sitting as the chair. The yays have it. So that's always fun of declaring motions as well. Chairman announces the result of the motion to the assembly. And let's look into this again. You obtain the floor, you raise the motion is seconded, motion is expanded, for, against, motion is voted on, results are declared. If you think about it, it is rather very, very simple in the way all these things come into place. Now, it is while the motion is being discussed is where a subsidiary motion could be raised in order for people to enhance on the whole thing, right? Points of order is something that we utilize quite a lot. That is why I included a separate slide for it, is that when a motion is out of order, it is not conforming to the rules. For example, in the club realignment, you're asking for a club to be moved in an area which will make it 7 clubs. That is a point of order. It is not conforming to the rules. Or point of order could also be that the chair allowed 4 people to speak, but a 5th person starts speaking. That is also considered a point of order as well, and it must be raised immediately after the error is made. The chairman's conduct is basically how a chair should be behaving. They allow motions that are in order. Please discuss that. Have the members obtain the floor properly. A chair is the one who is responsible to make sure that all these things are followed properly and in order. Speak clearly and concisely and obey the rules of the debate. If you are raising a motion as a chair, this is important. As a chair, if you're raising a motion, you need to relinquish the chair. You need to step down, and then you need to have somebody assigned as the chair temporarily while you raise the motion and talk about it. Be courteous in all your regard. As chairman, as a person raising the motion, be courteous. Short review, parliamentary procedures are a set of rules so that business can be conducted efficiently. In order for the club's business has to be followed, because we're not running a circus over here, we're individualized, civilized people. Establishment of the quorum is essential for the business to be conducted. If the quorum is not established, the decisions have to be ratified by electronic means, preferably later on. All businesses are stated as motions, so main, subsidiary, privileged, and incidental. There's a precedence to be followed in the motion, as we just saw in the 9 steps, and the point of orders are considered as part of the chairman's conduct as well. And remember, the assembly rules, they have the final say on everything and everything that comes in. I hope this very, very short sort of a crash course was something that at least made some sort of foundations coming in as well as to what parliamentary procedures are and how they can be conducted, at least at a club level, and you have some understanding as well. Thank you to DTM Wafa for allowing me a little bit of extra time over there. And thank you to Sagar for timing me very, very accurately. And now I hand over the control back to our master of the ceremonies.
Wow, what an amazing and informative session. Thank you so much, DTM Kuram. Let me all remind you once again, there will be a Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please put it personally to me in the chat box. And there is one more request. Please check the chat box as our next trainer will be DTM Wafa and it will be a practical session. So we need volunteers. So please send your names in the chat box, please. Our second trainer for today, she joined Toastmasters in April 2011 and achieved DTM twice. Her motto in life is, what goes around comes around. Put your hands together to welcome another beautiful DTM Wafa Salman.
Thank you, beautiful MC. Good morning, dignitaries, PQD, CGD, past district director, leaders of District 20. It's my honor to do this practical session, and the good choice is that they have chosen me with Khurram. And automatically, when he took time, because I was expecting him to take some extra time, I changed my timing directly on my practical session. And what will happen in this practical session? Let me show you the timing. We will start by, I will explain everything you will see in this practical session. That's the first thing. And how many minutes you will run. So I will explain the rules first of all, and it will take 15 minutes. Then we will practice the club. It was 20 minutes, now it's 15 minutes. And we will be all of us in this room. I was planning for 2 main rooms, but the number of people are few. And we will, when we finish the practice, we will recap, me and Khurram, we'll say what we've done good and what are the areas of improvement. So we will make sure that we are emphasizing on the things that you haven't done properly. Second, we'll do a mini district council meeting, which will happen next weekend. So we will make sure that you know your rights and how to raise that motion. We will recap as well. And then that's the beauty of the whole session. We will run a normal business session. I know that lots of you did not attend, lots of the people did not attend that who should attend. They can use it as a training material. So that particular club business session, which is running in, usually it will run in 10-15 minutes in a normal business meeting. And then the district council, which is 15 minutes. And I will tell you what motions I need to run. Now, in the last 2 sessions, scripts will be given to the person who wants to be the district director and the president. So I'm not gonna let you create things. I want you just to present things. Even the secretary and the minutes are there to be presented, the secretary and the finance. Having said that, let's first explain the rules. We will practice the club. I need a club president, I need a club secretary, and I need a treasurer. Only 3 is enough if we don't have more, but if we have more, it will be more a practical and real session. So let me know who will be, and we will start the business session, which is for 15 minutes. Timer, when we have the set, time me 15 minutes, time me 10, 12, and then 15, I'll cut the session directly, okay? Now, in a club business session, that's what I want you to do. I want to make the call for order, adopt the agenda, ask for quorum, reading minutes, and now there is no minutes, but just say the meeting has done in that particular day. These are the winners. It was adjourned at this time. Just create some words. The idea is to practice that there is a minute. But in the last session, there is a script you will read, so don't worry. There is reports, if there is, And I don't want reports except the finance reports. So only the finance will say, we have that much amount balance in our budget, and that's it. If there is unfinished, I don't want unfinished business, I want the new business. And in the new business, I will tell you one motion to be raised, which is raising the dues of the club from $45, which is only the international, to $65. And then adjourn the meeting. These are the things. I will keep them there. So while the session is running, the president will see the order that will be proceeded. Is that clear? President, secretary, and treasurer. I need 3. Mona, can you help me in that? Come on, guys. We've done these, so I need you to do it.
I didn't get any.
I have Dinesh raise his hand, Jahangir raise his hand, Siham raise her hand. Take them. Yalla.
Okay, yeah. Okay then.
Okay, we'll make Siham the treasurer, Jahangir the president, and Dinesh the secretary. Done?
Okay, great.
And Muhammad what raise his hand? He will say emotion, which is raising the dues. After the president recognizes you, Muhammad, okay? Can you spotlight them so we can see them, all of them, and none will be spotlighted, just the 4 people I asked for. Hello, Jahangir, how are you?
Good, thank you. Good morning, DT Wafa.
Good morning. You're coming younger after marriage, that's good. It means I have to think about it. And I need Siham, and I need Muhammad V. I did not see the family name. I started with V. So Jahangir, you are the president. Dinesh, you are the secretary. And this is the order I need you to follow. Hello, Siham. Please, somebody spotlight Siham.
Yeah, madam, can you open your video?
We need your video, Siham. Can you do the video or not?
No,
if not, okay. It's okay. So we will take your voice. Don't worry.
Okay.
Siham, I sent you the script in your WhatsApp. Jahangir also I sent to your WhatsApp. Danish, I don't have your phone number. Shall I send it to the chat?
No. I will send. Okay, fine.
Or do you have it, Wafa? You have.
I have it. I will send it to. I will send it to Dinesh.
Okay, great.
Okay, great. Yalla, President, timer, time them 10 minutes. President, run the show.
Okay, shall I? Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all to our meeting number 101. This is DTM Jahangir Khan, and I call the meeting to order. Can I have the guest introductions, please? Do we have any guest? I do see one guest with us.
Just to reiterate, it's a business session. So we're just following the agenda that is there on the TM Wafa's background.
That's the one we
on the phone.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Sorry.
Danny, I sent you that
request. Yes, can I request our Vice President of Education to adopt the agenda, please? If there is any changes in the agenda.
Ask for a motion from the floor to adopt the agenda. If there is no changes, ask them for if there is changes. That's good. You made it right now. If there is changes.
Do we have any changes in the agenda? Can someone please raise the motion to adopt the agenda?
I adopt the agenda. Mr. President, this is Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah. There is a motion to adopt the agenda.
Thank you, DTM Khalid Abdullah. Can someone please second the motion to adopt the agenda?
I, Toastmaster Muhammad Vikar, adopt the agenda.
Thank you. Can I now request Secretary to check the quorum? our Secretary, Toastmaster Dinesh.
Yeah, Mr. President, good morning. Yeah, I can assure you that there is the quorum, there is the 10 members, the active members, and at present we can see the 6 members. You can go ahead.
Thank you. Can I also request you to read out the minutes of the previous meeting, please?
Sure, Mr. President, since we are conducting, this is the first meeting, so there is no any previous minutes of the meeting. And since further we will update and we will present and adopt to go to the procedure.
Thank you. Now we move forward to the reports of the club offices. So I need to call the business session to order. I call the business session to order as we have the quorum. Correct, DDMOVA?
Yes, now we need the treasurer report. Only the treasurer report will be done.
On the
So
treasurer
Siham
report.
will do the treasurer.
Okay.
Treasurer, Toastmaster Siham, can you please read out the report, please?
Yeah. Mr. President, dear fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests, this is TMC Muhammad, your treasurer for the XYZ Club. My report is going to be divided into income and expenses. Our income for this year, 2021-2022, will be as follows. Fundraising will be 900, right? Speechcraft for 20 members, each paid $45. Member club dues, April 2021, till September 2021, 1,625. Renewal dues from April to September 25 members with 65. Yes.
Siham, can you read just the total of the income and outcome? These you will read them at the end.
Okay, just the total, right? Correct?
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
Total income, total expenses and balance. That's it.
Okay. Total income is 3,110. Total expenses 1,835, and balance is 1,275. And this is it. Over to you, President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Siham. Are there any questions for the treasurer? Are there any questions for the treasurer? Hearing none, the report is filed. Madam Treasurer, are there any bills?
No, I guess not. This is it from my side. Thank you.
That's great, because if there are bills, then we need a motion to approve these bills. And this is very important point. Very good. Back to you, Jahangir.
Thank you. Now we move to other reports. I now call the other officers to present their reports. Maybe have the Vice President.
There are none reports. There are none reports, but they will be taken. Just I need a motion.
The motion to close the business session, or?
We need a motion, one from the floor, to increase the dues. I need to see people how they are doing the motion now and how you are recording it.
So let's go to unfinished business part first, because we missed that. So let's go that and then new business. Yeah.
Is there any unfinished business? Is there any new business or unfinished business?
Jang, you can go ahead, saying once, twice, thrice.
Yes. Do we have any unfinished business?
No, we don't.
So do we have any new business?
Mr. President?
Wafa, I don't think he can see you, so you have to raise your voice. Yeah.
So now I guess we should read the motion, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, we need the president to recognize me.
Yes, DTM Wafa.
Mr. President, I move to increase the membership dues from $45 to $65 for this term, October to March 22.
Okay. Can you please rephrase again?
Increase the club membership from $45 to $65 for the term October 21 to March 22.
Okay. Is there anyone who second this motion?
Can I second the motion?
Can I amend this motion?
DTM Mona, the motion has already been second. So we have to go ahead and discuss over it. So yes. So the motion on the floor, ladies and gentlemen, is to increase the club dues. Can we have the discussion over this motion?
Yeah, may I?
Mr. President,
Yes, Toastmaster Dinesh.
you are moving
Yeah,
forward
before
to
we go to
discuss the
DTM.
motion, but after seconding, you didn't ask that somebody have the opposed to this motion,
Okay.
or it will come later.
No.
Because I have the opposed to this motion.
Yes, DTM Mona. Sorry, DTM Wafa.
Yeah, this is very important part that nobody can talk at the point now. Jahangir cannot see us or from his mobile, but usually nobody is allowed to speak. In the last session, we'll make all people are silent unless we see a person to speak. That's one. Now, regarding the discussion, as the treasurer explained the budget and the balance, I see that we have the club contest coming in a couple of months now, and we need more cash for the trophies and these things. So because of this, if we increase the budget in the coming term, we can afford the members with the trophies that they are used to take previously.
Thank you, DTM Wafa. Now, yes, Toastmaster Dinesh.
Mr. President, I oppose this motion. As DTM Bafa suggested to increase the fund, so we can seek another source to raise the fund for the trophy and everything, because since we are online the meeting, it will give go direct message to the members. Fees should be decreased, not the increase, because there is no overhead charges for the arranging the meeting rooms or any snacks. So it should be the reduction. It is my opinion.
Thank you, Toastmaster Dinesh. Any further discussion? Anyone who would like to comment? I don't see anyone else raising their hand. So now we will open it for
Mona raised her hand. Mona raised her
Sorry?
hand.
I raised my hands. I danced for Jahangir, but
Yes.
still he cannot see
He
me.
can-
Yes, sorry. Yes, please.
Yes. Good morning, everyone. Now,
Good morning.
regarding the motions, we are expecting to have hybrid or physical meetings. If it is that, yes, I am with the motion to be raised.
So this motion is?
I'm with the motion. If it is, if we are going to shift from online meetings to physical meetings to raise the use.
So that's the condition.
Are we still in the discussion?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, we are still in.
Yes, we are still in the discussion, right?
We're still.
Okay, great. Just I'm checking with the president to know if he is with this idea. Very good.
Yes, we are in the discussion. So any further discussion?
There is morally raised her hand, his hand.
Yeah, this is Murli Manohar. I support the motion that we should not think about increasing the fee or anything during this time, so that we continue with this and encourage people to participate and be a member. Thank you, and over to you.
Vijay is raising hand also.
Can I speak?
President Vijay want to speak. Give him the permission.
No, Mr. President, you are muted. Jahangir.
Yes, Toastmaster Vijay, you may.
Mr. President, and the moderator and all the attendees. Raising the fees from $45 to $65 is, I don't think it will be wise to do that. The reason is we are in the Zoom meetings nowadays, and the expenses involved are not as much we have in the physical meetings. Secondly, somebody said that we want to give away, cups, etc., to utilize this money. I don't think that we should raise the fees to buy the cups and give to the winners. It has to be contributed by that particular club to some extent, but not increase the fees. Another thing is, we may lose members by increasing the fees. So this is a very important point. So we don't want to lose members. It is already very difficult to get new members. So these points have to be considered. Back to you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vijay. Now
But
let us proceed
here
with
it's
the
enough.
voting.
Yeah, exactly. It's enough discussion. Great. Go on.
So yes, we'll be going forward with if the moderator can make a poll, or we can go ahead with the thumbs up.
A
All
and
those
nay
who are
is enough.
Yeah, all those in favor of increasing the club dues, say K. Can I take it?
Hey.
Good. All those in favor of not increasing the club dues.
Nay.
No. I believe DTM Wafa leading the yay, the motion to adopt to raise the club dues has been adopted,
Defeated.
right?
No, defeated. The nay take it. The nays have it. They are louder than me.
This is why the polls are important.
Absolutely. But it's okay. Now it's a practice. That's great.
Just one
Now you
quick
can.
point I'd like to add is that members can also decide to abstain if they don't want to vote. So you can say yes, no, or nothing at all.
So if there is no any new business, which is we don't have, you will ask if there is any new business we will not have, then move on to agenda meeting.
If there's no new business, I'll adjourn the business. Yeah, I adjourn the business. Thank you.
Super. It's good practice. Khurram, please give your comment. We have 5 minutes, please, timer. Give your feedback, Khurram, about the session and what are the areas they need to improve.
Absolutely. So first of all, it was just a bit of a confusion in the beginning about what kind of a session it is. So keep in mind, the business session is treated as a separate element than the rest of the meeting. A business session is a session within the meeting coming in as well. So we need to, when it came to adopting the agenda, if there are no changes, now this particularly refers to the agenda, not the meeting per se, but of the business session in particular. So if there's anything that comes in, the points that Wafa has mentioned right over there. So it refers to those points only. And if there are no changes, there's no need to raise a motion and second it going further as well. I mean, of course, this comes once again in the rules of the House. The chair can just declare them the agenda adopted. So that saves time rather coming in. Now the quorum was established. I liked how the secretary actually mentioned that we have 10 members and 6 people are present. So that mentioning part is absolutely important. Keep that in mind, because many times we say the quorum is complete, but how, why, what's the total number of active members? How many people do we have? So that needs to be coming in as well. I like how Dinesh thought quick on his feet and said, there's no previous minutes of the meeting. So let's save our time and move ahead. But of course, you need to have them adopted as well. The reports were presented fine by the secretary as well. The unfinished business, I would recommend whoever the chair is, to not wait for that long. Just if there any unfinished business, look around once, twice, calling once, twice, thrice, and move on to the next part. And the new business, I love the enthusiasm of the people. It's like, it feels like, it's their own money that they take it very personally when these comes to these matters. So I like that enthusiasm going in. But I would just advise the chair to, or who at the chair's time, to limit the discussion. For, against. Usually we allow 4 people. If you feel like there's more further discussion needed, you could go into it. But once again, these are the rules of the House that you have to come back to, right? So just mention that as well. And when it comes to voting, of course, it is predetermined as to how the whole thing is. So make sure that, the yeas and the nays, usually it used to be a lot of fun, but that's there for a lot of bigger gathering when it comes to it as well. Here, it's just raise your hands, or just make sure you can come to more quantitative numbers rather than qualitative numbers as such. Just make sure that happens. And then the one part that our president could have added, or the chair could have added, is there any announcements that our next meeting will be conducted on so-and-so meeting, or we will be considering this. Next meeting, we have whatever coming in, and then they could have just adjourned. And that's it.
Thank you very much, Khurram. And I will not add anything in that. And in the script that the president got, he will follow it in the right business session, which is at the end. And things will be more realistic, and you will understand what we are aiming for. And now let's move on to the second. Now in the second is the district council. The district council is coming soon, which is next week. And in the business council, the district director will call the order, adopt the agenda if there are changes or whatever. Reading the minutes, the secretary will do the reports for PQD, CGD, and finance. And there is a motion, if there is a motion, and we will have one motion to practice, and then the meeting will adjourn. I will keep this list in front of you, so you will know what we are going to do in this coming 15 minutes. Now, in the meanwhile, me and Khurram will be interrupting you just to go through the session. And then later on in the last session, we will not interrupt you. You will go by the script and we will all follow your instructions. Are we ready? Do we have the same people? They will run the show as well? Okay? Or we have new people? Muna, you are the guide.
Still, I don't have anyone, but I
okay,
think
so
good here.
Is Deacon Jangir here? I don't see him.
Siham is here. Siham is here.
Yeah.
I think there's
Siham can be the finance. Siham can be the district director or the finance manager.
I've got a request from someone called Muhammad, maybe Muhammad Fakhruddin.
In district level, the people should come from the district council members. That will be better.
I did not understand, Dinesh.
He mentioned, I think, area directors, division directors, like district council members.
Actually, that was I was asking yesterday, Muna, but it seems they're not ready to participate.
Well, where are our district leaders? Let's go. Let's do this. Where's the people?
We've got a request from Muhammad Fakhruddin. Is he still here?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Yes. Are you interested to join?
Yes.
Yes. So we have a volunteer here, Muhammad Fakhruddin. And who else?
Khalid, if there is no, let's have Khalid and have the people.
I can go.
Yes.
Yes,
Sure,
please.
sure.
Please.
I can go for it.
Because now we are practicing to show how the council meeting will run. I don't want to lose time.
Okay.
Inshallah.
Will be the district director, Khalid.
Okay.
I don't mind. Any role is fine.
Can I come in?
Of course you do, Khalid.
Khalid, you have the script. Khalid, you have the script from the group.
I do.
Can I come in?
Okay.
Yes, please, Morally.
I can also volunteer if you require my.
You will be the Morally. You will be the secretary.
Okay, done.
I didn't get your request, Morali. Yes. Okay. What
Yeah.
about? What
So
is
we have district director, we have secretary, we
manager.
need finance manager, and admin manager, sorry, is Morali. We need finance manager.
So we have admin manager here, official admin manager itself. I don't want to take her position. I will take over the finance if you want. Let her continue her admin manager role.
We have 1 minute to finish the roles because I will run the reel live at 10 a.m. I don't want to lose time. You are losing the practice. It's not my problem.
I'm ready for
I say,
You will
Wafa,
go
let's
to
just
the
pick
exam
people.
without a mock. You will go to the exam without a mock. It's your problem.
I'd say let's just sign people. We've got the district director as Stephen Khalid, who'll be running this. We have got the finance. Biji, are you okay to participate? Biji? Going once.
Good morning.
Good morning. Are you okay to take the admin role just for this mock session?
That's fine.
No,
Fine by
so
me.
we've got that. Lovely. And we can have Murli as the finance manager.
And in this mock, I don't want you to talk details. Just brief that this was the meeting, this was the whatever, this is the budget, and this is the balance. I don't want details now. In the details for the finance, we have a presentation will be run at the end. The presentation will be shared, so don't worry. You're not going to predict things, okay?
So
Morali
is the finance?
Morali is the finance, BJ is the admin manager, and Khalid is the DD. DD, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Yeah, are we going to have a PQD mission of the district? No, I'll skip it. So I'll call meeting to order, and let's go with the adoption of the agenda. So can I have someone to raise a motion to adopt the agenda as it is?
Okay, let me I just mentioned. So, I mean, usually in a bigger setting, if there are no changes to the agenda, you don't necessarily have to raise a motion to adopt the agenda. The chair can declare it as adopted. But in the district council, usually people will change the reports back and forth, bring the division actors report further or others.
So you would ask if there is changes and people will raise a motion to change something.
Sure. So do we have any changes, admin manager, on the agenda?
And before that, district director, can I mention that we need to make sure we have quorum?
I can see the quorum is not there. Okay, please, the district.
Sure thing. Okay, so the quorum for today's meeting, which is the district council, should be 97, and I have seen that we have 100 of the VPEs, and we have 25 of the presidents, so we're well over the quorum, established and good to go.
Scheme presidents, where are they? It's like
Great. Thank you, district admin manager. And let's move on right now to the adoption of the agenda. District admin, do we have any changes in the agenda?
At the moment, there are no changes to the agenda. They were distributed during the final notice to all the members, and none as of now. Over to you.
Great, thank you so much, district admin manager. So we'd move on with that, considering the agenda has been adopted. Reading minutes, district admin manager, would you mind reading the summary of the previous minutes of the meeting?
District director, so the summary of the minutes from last meeting, there were two motions that were raised as far as the contests, which was approved by the House, and the discussion, and that was the only motion that was raised and approved, and to conduct all the contests online. As far as the summary, which will be discussed in today's meeting, I'm not prepared, by the way, so this is something I will be working on going forward. I can make up the summary from last minutes. Okay.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
So I'll make sure that there's a summary for the minutes to be read out.
It has to be, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you.
wonderful.
Over to you, district director.
Thank you so much, district admin manager. Can I have someone from the House to raise a motion to adopt the minutes has been read, please? Are there any amendments? Are
If
there
the
any
minutes,
amendments?
exactly, exactly.
Yes. Are there any amendments to the minutes of the meeting, please?
No.
Having
There are
heard,
no amendments to the minutes.
thank you, District Admin Manager. Having heard none, can we move on to raising a motion to adopt the minutes?
No,
as been read, please?
when there are no amendments of the minutes, you will declare the minutes as approved and
Okay,
filed.
okay.
Or if there was no quorum in the last meeting, keep that in mind as well. Then you'll have to raise a motion to have them adopted as well. So usually in the minutes of the meeting, they'll mention if the quorum was complete in a previous meeting or not. Just a point.
No, that's a good point. Great. So assuming whatever we agreed that there are no changes, let's move on to the reports. And okay, so the report is only the finance manager, right? We don't have PQD, CGD. So may I call on our district finance manager to have his report, DTM Murli, please.
I send it to you on the chat, Morali, if you'd like. You're muted, Morali.
Yes, I saw it. I'm just working on that.
Yes.
So Morally, just go the income, expenses, and the balance. That's it. Later on, you will present it.
Can I have the host able me to participate in the screen sharing?
It is done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm your finance director, finance manager for this year. And as you know, I'm just going to share with you the district revenue. As you see, the budget is not about restricting what you can spend. It gives you permission to spend without confusion to achieve the end goals. So as you know, the revenue comes basically 25% of the dues from the members. It is given to the
Morally, just go to the budget. That's the most important now, which is the last slide, I think. Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, after that, exact. That's what the one. That's it.
Dear District Council members, I'm happy to present to you the 2021-2022 budget. And as you know, for this year, we are expecting to have $350,000, and out of which 30% will go. What is that? For the conference, 49%. I mean, the revenue, what we get is 350,000. The conference revenue, 49% will be there. I'm just trying to make it up. Anyhow, the total revenue will be around 202,000. This 100% we are going to be spending on these expenses, following expenses. Conference expenses will be $100,000, 42%. Marketing expenses, 6%, which has been levied by the international, 50,000. And we have other expenses like communication, 1,500, which is 1%, education and training, 15,000, which is 6% maximum allowed. On speech contest expenses, maximum 6%, 15,000 is allowed. Administrative expenses of 2%, 5,000 is what we plan to spend during this year. And travel expenses of 10,000, which is 13% of the income we are going to receive. Other expenses is going to be around $2,500, which is 1%. Overall, from the income, we'll be spending 164,000, and we intend to have a net income of 38,356. That will be one of the feather in the cap for our district director, DTM Khalid Abdullah. Over to you. If you have any questions, now you can ask me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, District Finance Manager, for the very detailed and thorough report. Do we have any questions before we move on to adopting the finance report? I hear none. I can see DTM Muna is preparing something, but I assume that I'm not listening or hearing her. So I hear none. Let's move on to raising a motion to adopt the reports. Or should I just say, if there are no objection? Okay, I can see DTM Imtiaz.
Yeah, Mr. District Director, I thought it's appropriate to make this clarification since we are talking on the subject of adopting the budget, and similarly for the minutes and the agenda. With these three situations, the chairman or the chairperson has an easy method to adopt all these three types of situations, or any resolution for that matter, by asking a simple question. Are there any objections or changes to whatever, the agenda, the minutes, or the budget? Hearing none, whatever it is, the budget is adopted with unanimously. See, that is a very easy path out. And that is known as adopting a motion or approving a motion through consensus. So you, as a chairperson, we can try to use this on every resolution that is put forward. We don't have to vote on everything. If there is no objection, we can adopt it unanimously through consensus. But even if there is one person who challenges that or objects, then it has to be put to vote. So back to you, Mr. District Director.
Thank you so much, DT Imtiaz. I'm really lucky to be District Director with 3 parliamentarians. Thank you so much, Brother Imtiaz, for the addition. So with no objections, we would adopt the budget report or the finance report has been presented. Thank you so much, everyone. Are there any other business? Should we go that? Because I can see motion there. Do we have any other business to discuss? Yeah. Great. I hear none.
That is the best thing a district director can hear on that day. No further motions coming in.
I declare this business session adjourned, and over to you, DT Wafa.
Super. Thank you very much. Now, DTM Imtiaz, can you summarize what are the areas from the beginning till the end that you can comment other than this? Because in the at the end, the script that it is shared, they will read the anonymous consent and they will follow it up. So please give us your feedback about this session. Floor is yours, DTM Imtiaz.
Thank you very much, DTM Wafa. No, that's like a table topic if there ever was one. Okay, yeah. Well, I think if you're talking about only the way the district council meeting was conducted, I think it was done very well. About the club meeting, I guess DTM Salman has already given his feedback. Yeah, so this is fine. I think it was done very well. The admin manager went right into her role, and so that's the way to do it. And also the finance manager. And even though the finance manager wanted to go through the entire presentation, was nicely and very diplomatically guided to focus on just the budget. And that was, again, very well managed. So I was very impressed with this part of the workshop so far and the way this district council meeting was conducted. So back to you, DTM Wafa.
Thank you very much, DTM Imtiaz. And now I want to run the session. We are 10 minutes before the schedule, which is great. Regarding the club, now let's focus on who will be the district director. So Khalid, you will be the district director in the district session. The script with you, please review it while the club business is done. Regarding the club, Jahangir is there because he has the script. So please send the script to anybody. So we have 5 minutes to recap the script. Dinesh is the secretary of the club and Siham is the treasurer. They have their script already. So please review it. We have 5 minutes. We will be taking questions and answers during this 10 minutes. And on 10 a.m., a president for the club, Dinesh the secretary, Siham the treasurer. They will run the business session for the club. And then for the district, Khalid will read the script. And Khalid, don't feel shy to read. In the international convention, the international president has got the papers and they will read because it's protocol and we have to follow the script. It's very important not to miss anything. So don't feel shy if you look and read. It's normal, okay? Regarding finance manager, please, Morally, review the slides, and if you see something that needs to be removed, remove it. The idea is to go in the flow. It's not about the words themselves, okay? You have 5 minutes to review. And admin manager, BG, just summarize something and create something from your mind about the district and write just few sentences to summary, and you did good in the session now. Now, the people will prepare the show. Let's have Q&A, me and Khurram and DTM Imtiaz from the crowd. Mona, please check who is raising his hand and give the question. And one of us will take the question. Any question on what we've done so far? I will ask a question. Raising hand, who's doing the business session in the club?
President. Oh, raising hand.
President. Muhammad Fakharuddin is raising his hand. Let us give him a chance.
Yes, please.
Muhammad Fakharuddin.
Yes, President.
Yes. You are answering the president who will make the business session. Now, my question is, are you doing a business session in your club?
Yes, we are doing a business session in our club meetings.
Okay,
as well
great.
as we are, yeah.
Very good. Because not all clubs are doing the business session, and it doesn't need to be done on every meeting. It can be done once in a month, because unless there is something to be said or there are changes in the DCPs or the budget or something. So the president will decide, but usually once a month is enough so that at least the members of the club will know where we stand from the education, where we stand from the budget, where we stand from our plan, which is the success plan that we put it in the beginning of the year. It's kind of monitoring progress, you know? So you are on the right track. The business session is like the blueprint to let you go on the right plan to reach your success plan at the end. Questions from the floor? Okay, great. It means
there are no
everything.
questions. It means either they understood everything or they understood nothing.
It means that me and Khurram are doing good job so far.
Yes. Well, we are the Salmans, right? So
the Salman's family. That's great. So 1 minute and we will start the business session. Who's the president we decided? Mona, who's the president? We know the secretary and the treasurer.
Treasurer is Siham.
The treasurer Siham.
Is Siham, and secretary was Danish, right?
Toastmaster Danish, yes.
Anybody from the floor, there is a script, you need to read it. We will send you the script and you will read it. It's not a big
Can you spotlight Danish, please?
I am here, DTM Bafa, I'm here.
Yeah,
yeah, I know you are here. Yeah,
okay,
it will be spotlighted. Yeah. But we need a president. Who's the president?
We were thinking about our Khan, Johnny, but he is not there. So you did not announce a president. That post is still vacant.
I think Khalid can go for it.
I can do that.
He can go. Mariam, Toastmaster Mariam can go.
Khalas, either Mariam or Khalid, but the script is with you, Khalid, right? Mariam, would you like to do it?
It's okay, yes.
Okay, please send Mariam the script, Mona. We are
She's with us
9:55.
in
We
the
are
group,
good.
right? She's in the group, so you can get the.
Okay, so please take the president's script, XYZ Club business script. And just follow the script, Mariam. Don't create something new. Just follow the script.
Raja, can you spotlight Mary? Yeah, okay. I was going to ask you to remove me and keep Salman. Remove me from the spotlight and put Salman as a driver.
Absolutely. Now, regarding the business session, we have 4 minutes to go. I want, again, the motion about the club dues. I want the president to limit the discussion for 2 people only, because they have to run the time. And there is a vacant of PR position, and there is no nomination. And we've announced it 2 weeks before. So ask from the floor to have a nomination. We'll have 1 nomination. So it's kind of refreshing. And then if there is time, if there is no time, we'll skip that motion. So don't bother yourself. We have to go with the time. Okay, are we ready? President, Secretary, and Treasurer. Siham, she's not spotlighted, but she's here. And she will be reading the report that she has. Now, can we spotlight only the President, the Secretary, and this only? And just keep, yes, exactly. And I will keep this like this, so I will not be there to have a normal session. And remove Morally, please. Morally in the district. Keep the timer. Super. President, on the show.
DTM Papa, you can be in their slide, just shrink your video. So you will be, just shrink your video, click on that screen, and you can reduce and take it up. Left.
Yeah, it's 9:55. Please, Mariam, start.
Because it's long report, so I only make the adaptive agenda club dues and we can maybe our
Yeah,
position.
just take from the introduction, the welcome, take few letters, but I make it as a proper script so you can, any president can see it as a material. So just read the first paragraph and that's it. 9:58. When you are ready, we'll start at 10. When you are ready, tell us to start.
Toastmaster, good morning. We are opening the meeting for the business session for Club Funky and Danky. I would like to request from the secretary if there is any change in the agenda.
Salman, you are muted. Are you speaking or something?
The secretary.
Please say there is no changes in the agenda.
There are no changes in the agenda. That means approved. The agenda is approved. The treasurer, may I request the treasurer to...
Mariam, please make sure you are reading the red colors. I make them by red, that these are the things that you need to read.
Okay. May we have the treasurer of the financial report?
Yes. Can I start?
The treasurer for the club, Siham.
Yeah, the treasurer for the club.
Oh, sorry.
Siham.
Our district.
Good morning, Mr. President, members of the club and guests. TMCM is your treasurer for today. in your club. And I'm going to tell you the report we have for the expenses and for the income. First of all, we have as fundraising 900 speechcraft for 20 members, each paid $45. We have also member club dues from April 2021 to September 2021, and this is 1,625. Renewal dues from April with 25 members paid $65. Then we have the vouchers, none. We have the member club dues, October 2021 to March 2022, 85. Renewal, this is 9 members, paid $65. So the subtotal income is 3,110. For the expenses, we have administrative supplies, this is $30. Educational materials, 200. Registering 20 member in speechcraft program. Then we have membership dues paid to World Headquarters, April 2021. This is 1,125. Renewal dues from April to 2021. 25 members paid $45. Membership dues to World Headquarters, October 2021 is 405. Renewal from October 2021, 9 members paid $45. Promotional materials like vouchers, etc., etc., is $775. Badges, none. Special events, none. Special contest materials, none. Trophies, none. Or certificates and ballots, none. Conference enforcement, right? None. Then we have the total expenses with $1,835. Balance available is, or net income is 1,275. This is the end of my report. Any questions? I'm ready. And over to you, President.
Thank you, Finance.
Treasurer.
Treasurer. We will be moving for the announcement. There are a position for the VBR position. If anyone would like to, have this position, he can send an official email to the admin and the president.
Maria?
Yes.
Can you ask if there is any nomination from the floor? Because we've already sent the email and no nomination, and we need to fill this position. And we need the other motion, which is follow the business session as in the script.
Okay.
Ask for any nomination from the floor for VPPR.
Is there any motion on the floor?
Nomination.
Nomination on the floor?
For
Yes,
VPPR.
I am.
Beg your pardon?
Is there
Siham,
any motion?
Siham,
Yes, can I nominate myself for being the VPPR?
If there any objection of the nomination of DTM,
we need a second. We need a second for the motion.
is there
To
a
be-
second?
Madam President,
Yes.
I second the motion. So
Thank you. If there is no objection, I will be continue 3 and the motion will be passed.
usually you will ask, is there any other nomination from the floor? You will repeat it 3 times. If you hear none, then you will close the nomination from the floor.
Okay. That means I say, there is no nominations.
Is there any other nomination from the floor?
Is
Please?
there any nomination on the floor? 1.
3 times.
If there is any nomination.
Yes, I am Toastmasters Dinesh Kumar Pal, member of this club, proposing to the nomination for the BPPR as Annadatta Murli Manohar, Distinguished Toastmaster.
You'll have to take permission whether he is interested or not.
The president will ask you.
Yeah, president only I'm saying.
Khurram, please
Is this in the
interfere
script?
to give them the instructions. We have a motion on the floor.
Correct. So if you have a nomination, the consent has to be taken by the person you're nominating. So at this point in time, the chair will ask Murli if he's even interested.
But first, the motion should be seconded. Otherwise, it's one opinion, so it will not be taken.
Correct. The nomination has to be seconded as well. But is this part of the script?
No, it's not part of the script. It's a motion from the floor. The script for the president only. Okay, Mariam.
Sorry.
Challenging you, right? Mariam, please ask for second for the motion, and we don't need second for the motion.
I say.
We have Vijay Bhatia shown his
Mariam, ask, is there a second? Can I hear a second for the motion?
Can I second for the motion?
Yes, Vijay is raising his hand.
The chair has to acknowledge
Hello.
Vijay.
Yeah.
Mariam, can you acknowledge Vijay?
I second the motion. And
wait,
second Mr. Murli Manohar.
Wait, Vijay. Vijay raised his hand. Please, President, acknowledge Vijay. Say Vijay, please. Otherwise, he cannot speak. Please.
Toastmaster Vijay, please, can you speak?
Vijay, you're on mute.
You're
Vijay,
still
you're
muted.
you're muted. We can't hear you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. I second the motion.
Now, Mariam, please ask Murali if he accepts the position.
Murli, tell them you're too busy. You're not
Exactly, we need to finish.
Toastmaster Murali, do you accept the position?
Thank you very much for the lovely offer, but I'm really busy with my family commitment and I will not be able to devote my time. But if anybody is there as a PR, I can support them in their committee.
Thank you, TM Murali. Now I just have to say about.
Now, count to 3. Hearing no other nomination, you will call the nomination to be closed.
Hearing no nomination. Hearing no nominations. Hearing no nomination. Nomination is closed.
Super. And we have, you will ask the secretary to cast one single ballot for DTM Siham to be as VPR for our club. Ask the secretary to cast.
I ask the secretary to pass DTM Siham.
To cast single ballot.
Single
Ballot.
Single ballot to DTM Siha.
Super.
Yes, Madam President, done.
Thank you.
Great. So go to the adjourn the meeting. Go to the end of the script and follow the script. The last page.
The last page is showing, thank you, Mr. and Madam Timekeeper. The business meeting will be extended with 5 minutes more.
We are okay with time. I put it, if we are extending time, then we need to go with this motion as incidental motion.
Okay. So I said the meeting is adjourned, or
Thank the people who attended. Tell them the next meeting is whatever, and then adjourn the meeting.
okay. Thank you for attending the meeting, and see you next meeting in 11 of September.
How often does this club have their business session? Every day, is it?
Daily meeting.
Tomorrow is the business session. It's like
Please say, Mariam, the meeting is adjourned.
It's adjourned.
Let's give Mariam a big round of applause. I know there is no preparation, the script, because no people volunteered before. If you have volunteered before, the script was with Muna, she could have given to you. So in such practical, if we have such role player, they will be prepared by the script that we will provide, and by that there will no tension. However, I'm so happy with what we saw today, and it was great. Let's give the club XCOM a big round of applause. And now,
the point that I would like to mention here, Rafa, is that
yes,
the whole thing in terms of parliamentary procedure is a practice. You will make mistakes. We are expected to make mistakes, and that's how you'll learn, because you'll make something, and that's when you'll get to know that, okay, it's done the other way. So kudos to everybody for doing a phenomenal job, and mistakes is how we will learn, but good job, everybody. Back to you.
Thank you. DTM Imtiaz, any comment before we move to the district?
Yeah, DTM's Wafad, you see, there is a little difference when it comes to elections and conducting a business meeting. Nevertheless, I think it was managed very well during the role play just now. Yeah, so there are some subtle differences, but on the whole, I think people experienced, going through the whole process of raising a motion, discussing it. I just want to also add at this point that the chair, actually the chairperson, the president, the presiding officer, whatever you call them, can cast a vote to change the result of the vote. This is a power that the chairperson has. Now, for example, there are 25 clubs, 25 votes in favor and 25 votes against a motion. The chair can cast a vote in favor of the motion to pass the motion, right? And there's another scenario in which there are 25 votes against and there are 24 votes in favor. So if the chair does not cast his or her vote, then the motion would be approved. So, but the chair can cast a vote, one vote against the motion, and once that will result in a tie. So you've got 25 votes for, 25 votes against. Now in this situation also, the motion will be defeated. This is an important point for presidents to remember, that they have the power. All this is possible except in the case where there is a secret ballot. Now, in elections, there is a secret ballot. So with a secret ballot, of course, the president or the chairperson, as a member of that particular assembly, casts their vote along with all the other members. So this power is to be exercised only when there is no secret ballot. So I just thought I'd share that information. On the whole, I think it was a very effective role play session. Back to you, DTM Wafa.
Thank you very much for the the information, and it's very crucial. Now, the district council meeting will run. We have I will change my background, but I want the district director, the finance manager, and the admin manager to be spotlighted with a timer and let them start the session.
So that means Khalid is the district director.
Khalid Morali, and yes, Khalid
Biji.
Morali.
Biji.
Biji, she was the
Admin.
admin. And who else? Timer, okay.
And spotlight me to put them the
sequence.
Yeah.
DTM Wafa, I don't see, I know in the script that you had intention initially to use the alignment. I know that we agreed to drop that, but there's no
We are
specific
not going to have
motions in there.
reports. We will not have reports. We will just follow this. Adoption the agenda, the minutes, the finance report only, and I need these two motions to be raised. One of the members, or I will do it, there is a club, I want to change it in this coming council, which is the first council. And I will see how the district director will reply if I want to align a club now. And you will explain why this is very important information for the clubs to follow. And then if there is time, we will increase the division if there is time. If there is no time, you will adjourn the meeting on time. Please follow the timing. When it is yellow, start to wrap up. And then by red, we will give the time to DTM MTS properly. Okay?
I see it yellow by now. Yes, DTM Murli.
No, this is yellow for the previous session. Not for this.
DTM Wafa has leaked already our proposal.
And Murali, please downsize the slides so you will run with the time. Khalid, the floor is yours. I will mute myself and keep the.
Can we have the timing starting again, Sagar?
Please, timer, start the timing again, 15 minutes.
This yellow is for the session, the whole session.
Yeah, I know. Give the 10 green, 12 yellow, and then Khalid will start wrapping at when it is 12.
Okay.
Khalid, start, please.
Inshallah. I'll just go through the script. So the district council includes vice president of education, club presidents of our clubs, area, division, leaders, and district senior cabinets. This body serves as the administrative governing body of the district, and as such is responsible for conducting and approving the business of the district. We also have today with us the appointed committee chairs. We have district leadership chairs, credential chair, realignment chair, and candidate that's not with us today, I would assume, not the realignment chair and the candidate showcase, right? DTM of us, I'll skip that. I'll assume so it was not there.
Yes.
Okay. As members of the District X Council, each of us serves an important role in the governance of our district. Thank you all for being here in attendance online. When I first started attending the council meetings, I was amazed to find out what goes on the background within the Toastmasters organization. That's for real, by the way. And I became more interested in leadership roles. I have since learned a lot more about Toastmaster leadership and indeed these meetings. I see them as vital part of democratic leadership of our district, where club and each district leader has a say in how we deliver our mission. Today, as Toastmasters leaders, we're facing a paradigm shift as our real world has turned to an online world. We had to make the journey in a short period, and it was challenging, but working together, we have successfully adopted, and here we are today. I don't have a PQD here, so I'll skip this, the district mission.
Yes.
Okay. Okay,
you can
I think I know what you want to say. Okay, wearing the hat of PQD, let's read the district mission. We build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Okay, we are privileged to have DTM Wafa today with us as the parliamentarian. That's me adding her there. Thank you so much, DTM Wafa, for accepting to be the parliamentarian for our council meeting today. Our first item of the business is adoption of the agenda for the meeting. But before the adoption of the agenda, may I call on our district admin manager to tell us whether we have a quorum.
Thank you, District Director and members of the council. The total quorum for today's meeting is supposed to be 97, but unfortunately, I have to let you know that we have only 80 presidents that have joined in and 14 VP education. So we are 3 short of the quorum.
Amazing. Thank you so much, District Admin Manager. So with this, that means we cannot have motions, but of course we would be having motions. We would accept motions, but we would have the voting online for the coming 24 hours. So thank you so much, District Admin Manager, but please let me know if we come to the place where we have motions, how are we doing with the quorum, to see whether we can do the voting here or later on. Thank you so much. So moving on with the adoption of the agenda. Without objection, I declare the adoption of the agenda. Thank you so much, everyone. Let's move on to the acceptance of the minutes of the meeting for the previous council meeting. And if I don't see any objection, without any objection, I declare the acceptance of the minutes of the previous meeting. Great, I don't see any objection. Thank you so much. Let's move on to the reports. And for the sake of the exercise, I'll skip the other reports and let's hear from our finance manager, district finance manager, with his report. So DTM Murli, take it away.
Thank you very much. Okay. Thank you very much. As your district finance manager, I'm going to be presenting my report. Thank you, Didi, for this. And this is just to let you know what is that I'm going to present, the revenue and expenditure budget, as well as what is the entitlements the district can get, and acceptable and unacceptable expenses, budget analysis, current year budget, and if there is any question and answer. Please keep your question and answer till the end. We will come to that. District mission, as you know, we build new clubs and support all clubs in excellence. The financial budget and strategies aligned to this district mission. So policy and protocol 8.4 governs the district financial management. As you know, all district funds are Toastmaster International funds and are used to carry out Toastmaster International and district mission. All divisions and area financial activities will be under the supervision of our district director, and quarterly division and area financial reports to be sent to the district finance manager within 30 days from the end of the term. So as a budget, the budget is not about restricting what you can spend. It gives you permission to spend without confusion to achieve the end goals. We have two sections. One is revenue and another is expenses. Revenues, as you know, 25% of the dues, including pro rata received from within the district, is given to the district reserve, and any other revenue through activities according to the policy and protocol. Expenses, and I'm just reading out the order of priority. The first will be district and club officer training, club building, club rescue, membership growth in clubs, promotion of TI educational programs within the club, district communication, administrative materials and district management supplies, awards and recognition, and authorized district leader travel. Finally, the district conference, meetings, and speech contest. As you see, the district budget expenses shall be limited only to these following things. Marketing, no budget limit. Communication and public relations, maximum 25%. This is the entire thing we will see is coming to 100%. Speech contest, administration, travel, others, conference, district store, fundraising should break even, as well as other things which are shown like conference and district store. For fundraising, they should not exceed the expenses. Now, the marketing expenses is very clear. For building any new clubs, we have a demo meeting for the new club formed. Per club, there will be $200. The membership growth, materials purchased from TMI per division, maximum 75. promotional expenses, promotional materials, that is banner, brochure, CDs, per division $75. Supplies and stationeries per division 75. Food expenses for open house maximum per division 125. Food expenses for open house per area $50. Food expenses for new club per new club is $250. Now from the district, if you see for education and expenses, meal event expenses other than COT, 2 programs per division per program, $300. Training for club officers, meal event per division is $300. In addition, for stationery, $75. Entitlement continuing is division speech and expenses, including awards. Per division, we give $350. This is separate both in Arabic and English. Area speech contest, awards and other things. Each award for Arabic and English, it will be $250. Communication and PR will be $100 per division. Again, the travel, transportation, airfare maximum to $200. Visa expenses actuals as per the host country. The acceptable and unacceptable expenses is, we are going to send you this, but just to read it out, communication and PR, you see the one side printing and stationery are allowed, supplies, copying and website, but no expenses for printing on expensive or cosmetic additions. Fees paid for district volunteers for time, district telephones, travel, they are not there. Again, speech contest only, trophies, postage, plaques, certificates purchased from TI only, postage, copying and room rental. Not for cash awards or trophies purchased from outside the TMI, mugs or t-shirts or for any travel. I'm going to read the budget analysis. First is for the membership revenue, as we are expecting it to have $350,000, conference around $100,000. So this is going to be after all the expenses, we expect to have all the total revenue, we expect to have 202. I don't know how it is 202. Anyhow, secondly, conference expenses $100,000, marketing expenses. These are as per the slide which I have shown earlier. Communication expenses $1,500, education and training expenses $15,000, speech contest $15,000, administration expenses $5,000, travel expenses and other expenses. Overall, you'll see $164,000 against 202,356. We plan to have a great net income of 38,356. And this is the scenario. If you have any questions, I leave the floor open to everybody to ask. And over to you, District Director, DTM Khalid Abdullah.
Thank you so much, DTM Murli, our District Admin Manager, for the lovely report.
Point of order.
Yes, District Admin.
District Director, I'm pleased to inform you that the quorum at the moment is 115. We have 35 of the BP education that have joined in, so we're at 115. Quorum is established. Over to you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, District Admin Manager, for the timely reminder and timely giving that information. So, do we have any question or any objection on the report read by our District Finance Manager? Great. With no objection, I declare the report has been adopted, has been presented. Thank you so much, District Finance Manager. So let's move on to the other business. And I would just define what's the motion. So for the sake of the council members, the motion is a formal proposal by a member that the council takes certain action. A main motion is one whose introduction brings business before the council. So this is what the motion is. So do we have any motions for the time being, assuming that we are in any other business? Yes, DTM Wafa Salman.
Let me wear the hat of a member.
Okay.
Wafa Salman from Club 320125. I'm the VP Education of the club. My club is in area 31, and I want to realign this club in area 28. So the motion to realign my club in area 28.
Thank you so much, DTM Wafa, for this motion, but unfortunately this motion is out of order. This council meeting would not be discussing realignments because we would have to have a realignment chair to be appointed, and all of the realignments would be discussed in the second council meeting. So thank you so much for bringing this up. Yes, please.
May I ask? But they did not tell me before that they removed my club. I was surprised in July that the club is moved from 31 to 28.
Well, thank you so much once again. I would acknowledge your concern, but and definitely we would look into that outside the council meeting, but for the time being, we will not be considering this motion because for the sake of that this would be discussed in the next council meeting, and definitely we would hear your voice. And thank you so much for bringing this up in here. Thank you so much, DTM Wafa. Are there any other motions? Are we going for the division director contest? No time. Okay. I hear none. Thank you so much, all of the council members, for such fruitful business session today. And I call business session adjourned. Over to you, DTM Wafa.
Thank you very much. Maybe at the end of our day, we can recap and take questions or give comments, because I don't want to take from the time. It's 2 minutes more from DTM MTS time. So now I'll give the control back. Thank you very much for participating. We will take in the Q&A anything, and let's give the control back to our MC. Back to you, MC.
Wow, what an amazing, fun, informative session. I definitely hope you all had a great time. Thank you so much, DTM Wafa. Thank you, DTM Kuram, and all those who volunteered. Let's give a round of applause to everyone. Thank you so much. Our next presenter for today hails from the Garden City of India, Bangalore. He has lived in the Middle East for more than 30 years. His affairs with Toastmasters began in 1998, and he has achieved the DTM. He is grateful to Toastmasters, which helps him practice his motto, which is live to learn and learn to live. Let's welcome DTM Imtiaz Ahmed.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies, for that wonderful introduction. Fellow Toastmasters, and I think we have our international director, DTM Ali Shehbaz, in the audience. DTM Ali Shehbaz, DQD, Khalid, Club Growth Director, I don't think he's here, Khalid Jalal, Division I Governor, other district officials, club officers, and members. A very good morning to you all. All right, so it's a pleasure and privilege to share this very vital information, which is much ignored among the Toastmasters fraternity. The one thing which we all know exists, but many of us have not even seen a physical copy of what is known as the Constitution. Can I request the moderator to allow me to share my screen, please? Thank you. Thank you very much. All right, so I will also request the moderator to share, bring to my attention if somebody raises their hand in case I missed them. I really appreciate that. Okay, so just a moment. Let me get my presentation started. Here you go. Okay, so what can we expect from this session today? First of all, what is a constitution? Constitution is a very, very important document which helps run huge, large organizations like ours large corporates, countries, even the United Nations. Everyone has to have a constitution, which what the main purpose and role or function of a constitution is to define the purpose, the reason for being part of whatever the organization we are, and what are the roles, the responsibilities, and the rights of its members and the officers, the administrators, and the entire entity. So I know it's a huge subject, but we will try to go through what we believe based on the feedback received to be the important aspects of specifically the club constitution. But before we get into the club constitution, we need to understand where we stand in this huge scheme of things. We are part of a mammoth organization. Many of us may not realize this. Toastmasters International is a giant of an organization. It has been around for almost 100 years. So we have to try to get some insight into what are the governing documents of Toastmasters and what are the articles of incorporation, and what's the foundation on which Toastmasters exists, and what are the bylaws which govern this existence. And coming down further, we'd like to see what are the district administration bylaws. So we'll just have a quick overview of these, and then we'll come to the main focus of today's session, which is the club constitution. What are its concepts and what's the purpose? We'll also take a good deep dive into what is known as the forms 6A and 6B, which together constitute our club constitutions. And hopefully through this session, we will clarify some of the queries that you may have related to the club constitution. Now, please feel free to raise your questions or unmute yourself and speak. So it's because we want to make this interactive, because there's lots of information in this particular presentation. So let's keep it interactive. Of course, if we can't address all your questions right now during the session, we will try to do so during the Q&A session. All right. First of all, the Toastmasters International governing documents. There is almost like a pyramid. The Articles of Association, the Toastmasters International bylaws, the district administration bylaws, then we come to the club constitution and the club options. Form 6B, which is known as the addendum of standard club options. This incidentally used to be called the club bylaws until 2015. So since then it has been changed. The constitution has remained as it is, but we changed. We don't call it the bylaws, club bylaws anymore, but the addendum of standard club options. I make this point here because there are many senior veteran members like myself who still refer to them as the club bylaws. And more importantly, all these things which we are looking at right now they present a macro view of the whole governance of Toastmasters International, every entity all the way up to the club. But in order to add clarity and in order to make it easier for implementation, there is also something known as policy and protocol. So I urge you all, it doesn't matter if you're a club officer or a district officer or just a member, it's very important for us to understand what is the essence of the governance of Toastmasters International. And in order to enhance your experience, please make an effort to go to the TI website, as I've listed here at the bottom of the slide, and go through these governing documents, and you will be educated This will serve you very well, not only in Toastmasters, but in your professional world as well. Okay, so now you have a good idea about all the governing documents in Toastmasters. Let's quickly get a preview of the Articles of Incorporation. So this is also known as the Corporate Charter. So this is very important for us to understand that this has been set up in the United States. The bottom line is Toastmasters International is a not-for-profit organization. Therefore, it is subject to many different kinds of conditions as compared to a normal corporate, which is for profit. So the bylaws of Toastmasters International, very detailed. They have evolved over 100 years virtually, and these are very comprehensive and very effective. So as I said, they've evolved, so they haven't happened overnight. So they are very comprehensive, really worth a read for anyone who's interested in governance and constitutional rights and responsibilities. The district administrative bylaws are again very explicit, very specific, as you can see here, all the way starting from the authority and the title until you're going through all the way to the governance, the boundaries, the areas and divisions, organizations, the officers, the duties, council meetings, how a meeting is to be conducted, what are the minimum requirements for a meeting to be conducted, types of committees, so on and so forth. Very comprehensive. We don't have to reinvent the wheel when trying to manage a district. We just have to follow the book, go by the book. All right, so then we move on to the final focus the points that we're going to focus on today, which is the club constitution. This comprises of two parts. The first part is Form 6A, which is a club constitution which is common for all the clubs. Every club in the world, Toastmasters Club, has a common constitution. Important for us to remember that. The second form, on the other hand, 6B, is appropriately called the Addendum of Standard Club Options, because the conditions can be different for each club, in each region, each country, and even every club within the country. So everyone have their own requirements. So there is a bit of flexibility provided here. We can choose those types of conditions which are most practical for our own club. So we have that wonderful flexibility in this whole constitution. Point to remember, Form 6A, as I said, is common for all clubs, and it is virtually carved in stone. It is possible to amend even this. So that's the beauty of the Toastmasters organization. Even the constitution, which is typically carved in stone in most organizations, can be modified. There is a process. There is a facilitation that has been facilitated. There's a provision to do this as well. All right. So now let's look at the constitution for clubs of Toastmasters International. Article 1 deals with purpose. We like 1 to 12, we have all these various subjects which are required. We need direction on how do we conduct, how do we manage the club, how do we manage our business, how do we serve our members. It is all there, right there in the Constitution. So if we are thorough with the Constitution, every club officer, when they take charge, they should be very familiar with the Constitution. Not just familiar, I would say very well versed, because it's very important to be able to perform your function and your role responsibly and professionally. If you can only do that if you know what the Constitution dictates. Right, so we'll just quickly look at each one of these articles. We're not going to go into the depth. The purpose of the club is clearly defined in this article. Membership, the composition of the membership, the admission, the responsibilities of the members, and even the provision to discipline, or expel, suspend, or even to decline, to renew membership. There are provisions provided in the Constitution. we'll look at some of these aspects based on the feedback which we have received from members in due course. All right, so then the new members' fees and dues, yes, and the reinstatement of the fees, the reinstatement fees and the transfer of various scenarios are also described in the Constitution. The types of meetings that we need to have and the notice period before we can have such a meeting. So in case if it is a regular meeting, we really don't need to send out a meeting or notice for the meeting like we do with the district council, for example. So this is all very explicitly explained in the Constitution here. What is a quorum? Earlier this morning, we talked about the quorum, DTM quorum, explain what it is, and then through the exercises by DTM Wafa, we saw what the voting process is. This is again very, very clearly specified under Article 5. Article 6, the number, the types, the officers, the so-called ex-com. So what is the makeup of this? It's very important for us to understand this. And the term of the office, again, whether we have a 6-month term or a 1-year term, re-election of officers. All these things are very clearly explained there. So you really don't need to ask anybody, but if you just go through the Constitution, it's all very clear to understand. The duties of the officers have been spelled out. Okay? And here you can see that the role of the secretary in Section 5 is, I've just kept that, the text under that, because it's so crucial, maintaining the records, not only documenting the minutes, even the archives, the previous, most importantly, things like the Constitution, the charter certificate of the club. Where is it, right? So many of our clubs have been around for 10, 15, 20, 60 years, but where are these archives? Where are these these documents? So important. Many times we do not have a proper handover from one ex-com to the other, and things are lost in the crack. Some clubs don't even have a banner or even their club gavel. So what about the Constitution? How many of you have seen your club Constitution, which was, or for a club which was chartered in 1995, for example? I'm sure many of us have not seen the Constitution. So it's very important for the secretary to take responsibility of all these records, important records, and disseminate and share the information with every new member that joins the club. All right, so then we talked about committees earlier this morning when we talked about a business session. Yes, standing committees are already defined. The club executive committee, the education membership. This is a very, very amazingly powerful method for people to perform their roles when they're on the ex-com by forming these subcommittees or the standing committees. Many officers fail to do that and they struggle. They try to do things by themselves. And so they don't take, if you have a solid team of even just 2 people with you, you can perform that much better. You'll enjoy working as part of a team, leading a team, being part of a team, and you will get a very, very wholesome experience and development as a leader, as a team member. So please do form these subcommittees because they will really make your life easy in more ways than one. The rules of order. Yeah, this is important for us to understand. DTM Kuram talked about Robert's Rules of Order. So that is the official parliamentary procedure that Toastmasters International follows. And even all the clubs in Bahrain also follow the Robert's Rules of Order because this is accepted by the Kingdom of Bahrain, the government as well. So this is, the parliamentary authority. It's a fascinating subject. It's a vast subject. I'm still a student, long way to go to even graduate. So I learned so much this morning. There's no end to the learning of this fascinating subject. So please, and then the role of a parliamentarian. You can have a parliamentarian in every meeting, and that does make a difference. in conducting meetings efficiently without wasting time and without hurting the sentiments, without having any kind of conflicts in the club. All right, so now the next article is about affiliation. Important for us to understand our limitations as a club. So what is the relationship with Toastmasters International? We are not liable for any other club in Bahrain or anywhere in the world. We are only liable to our own club, right? So there are limits of that, and also the liability of Toastmasters International to us, there is a limit. So this is all very clearly explained here. The legal status and dissolution in case the club has to end. And there's again very clearly defined rules about the use of funds, for what we can use it and what we cannot use it for, and how we can raise funds, so on and so forth. Right. So this is again important to know. And as I talked about the club amending the club constitution, there is a process, although it is very difficult and usually takes a couple of years because there's a deadline by the end of December of every year. This whatever amendment a club would like to make has got to be presented to the International Board of Directors, and they will consider it and maybe discuss it in the following year. So at the earliest. So it's not easy, but it's not impossible. That's really comforting to know that we have some element or some amount of power. All right, so then forms, the two forms, 6A, very simple. This is the only thing that needs to be done. Once we adopt the club constitution, we mention the name of the club and the location of the district on which day it was, signed by the president and the club secretary. This usually happens when the club is chartered and we don't look at it ever again. So this is normally the case with most clubs anyway. So then the standard club options. So this is something which, again, is very, very important and very for us to understand what are the options available to us and to specify them. Sometimes the options that we selected were 20 years ago, they are not relevant today. So we have to change them. Now, good example is we've stopped meeting in person. So we've been having online meetings. So how does that affect our club options? So yes, definitely we have to review some of those club options and modify them. And there is a process. We go through the parliamentary procedures to adopt these changes. And this is fairly easy as long as we have a majority of the clubs, we have a quorum and the majority of the club's active members attending, can adopt these changes. All right, so these are the, all these 1 to 13, these are the fields that we can fill up, and we will try to address these because I think there are some issues with some members, or we can handle it in the Q&A. Right, so but nevertheless, this is what has to be filled on the form 6B, and these can be changed any number of times. You don't have to wait for a specific, your AGM to make the changes. All right, so this is the membership composition. So now this is something which, again, is very highly debated, as I understand. Yeah, so why have restricted clubs? So it makes perfect sense. Imagine if you're working for a company like Babco. Now you want to get your entire your own employees into a room and discuss things which are sometimes they may contain sensitive information. You're definitely concerned about keeping the confidentiality. You during the discussion, there may be so many things which may not be necessarily, okay for Babco to have on the public domain. So that's why they need to have this option to try and keep the membership limited to their own employees. So this is absolutely justified. Now, having said that, there is something which, as you can see, what has been shown in red, the restriction cannot be on the basis of any kind of discrimination based on, for example, gender or religion or even financial status of a person or the ethnicity, we cannot close the membership, restrict the membership on these types of discriminatory grounds, which is again very clearly specified in the Constitution. I will be sharing a PDF file with the template of the Constitution, and I urge you to look at that. And it's very clearly mentioned there on Section 1 of the Article 2 of the Club Constitution that the restriction cannot be based on discriminatory grounds. But at the same time, it is possible to have a restricted or closed membership. So if you have any questions about this, please feel free to pose them now, or even type them in the chat, and our MC will bring it to open it for discussion during the Q&A session. So, but please understand that this is perfectly all right. It is not, but as long as it is not exploited with any kind of discrimination in mind. So technically, we cannot say an all-ladies club. Yeah, so, but there is an option to do that. For example, if you have a ladies association, so only members of a ladies association can be a member of this club. Or even if it is those who are interested in a particular type of activity, those who like to play bridge, those who like to share recipes, they try, anything like that, any activity, any interest that they have. But gender-based restriction of a club is technically not allowed. Here, I would also like to say religion. When it comes to religion now, if you have, for example, a club which says that it is for this particular religion, it is fine as long as it is not discriminatory, right? So you cannot say that only, for example, Muslims can join this club. It is instead, you can say that those who want to study Islam can join this club. Those who want to promote Islam can join this club. So these are the types of restrictions that we can, specify in this article number 2. All right. So then we move on. The honorary members. This again is often misunderstood, and people who have been with the club for a number of years, senior members, so they are sometimes, they are rewarded by being made honorary members. So the honorary members typically do not pay any fee, not the Toastmasters International fees, and not even the club dues. So they are members for free, but their rights are also very limited. They don't count towards the quorum. They cannot participate in club contests. So the purpose to have honorary members is if you have someone who's in the government or in the corporate world who is actually promoting the ideals of Toastmasters and is a good ambassador for the club to have this person as an honorary member of the club, then it makes sense to accord this type of status. Yes, DTM Dinesh. I'm sorry, Toastmaster Dinesh Kumar.
Thank you, DTM Imtiaz. As you take this honorary member, it is not the compulsory that the person should be passed by Toastmasters, or it can be without Toastmasters also an honorary member.
Ideally, the honorary membership should be given to non-Toastmasters. Yeah.
Thank
you.
So
this is what makes sense. If you want to award, recognize or try to give some kind of benefits to long service members, like it. I know I'm a member of a club where the member who has been serving for more than 20 years pays only the Toastmasters International dues. They do not pay the club dues. So that you can actually make a separate provision for that for long service members. And I will show you how we can do that shortly.
Thank
right?
you.
So
Thank
that answers your question. You're welcome. Yeah, Toastmaster Vikaruddin.
Yes, thank you, DTM Imtiaz, for nice presentation. Still is going on since you asked for the question. Honorary members is mentioned here. It is only for a particular term, or they can be a lifetime. The member honorary.
Well, it's up to the club. You can decide the duration. So it could be for 6 months, it could be for a year, it could be for a lifetime. Yeah. So it's up to the club. So you have to decide this through a resolution. So each time you want to award an honorary membership to a particular member, it has to be discussed first within the ExCom, and then the ExCom presents it to the assembly, and then they vote on whether this person should be inducted as an honorary member and on what terms. And then, maybe you may have more than one honorary member. So in which case you have to, if you have a standard policy, it makes a lot of sense, right? So it's up to the club, essentially, to answer your question. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. We have a few more.
Yeah, I have another question. What is the possibility replace existing member club officer, which is already nominated? Is there any possibility we can replace, or we have to wait for the term to be end, or it's a non-paid member? What is the condition? I did not see in the constitution where we can see the amendment to change the officer.
Oh, there is a provision to replace officers. It's in the constitution. I will share that a little later again. Yeah. Okay. All right. So now, is that okay, Toastmaster Vicaruddin? So if there is a provision, I will give you the exact article where that's specified. Then I don't know the order in which the hand is raised. So we have Toastmaster DTM Mona. Your hand is raised.
Yes, DTM Imtiaz, thank you for this wonderful presentation. Just I'm concerned about honorary members. How many members we can go for max on honorary? And plus, if this honorary would like to give a speech, deliver a speech in a club, is it possible? Third thing is, if this honorary would like to transfer from honorary to a member and pay his fees, shall we still keep him as both as a Toastmaster and honorary, or he will be just transferred to be honorary and he will get his own rights?
Good question. The first one, there is a percentage, I believe it is not more than 5% of the club's membership can be honorary members. And then the second question was, of course, it's possible for them to transfer and become normal members. And then, okay, once they become normal members, that means they want to do, for example, a project manual speeches. Yes, that will be possible if they become regular members. So they cannot maintain their honorary status as well as be regular members because when you're honorary members don't pay any fees at all, right? So if they become regular members, then why do we need to call them honorary members anymore, right? So because they become regular members, they have the full rights. They can present manual project speeches, pathway speeches during the club meetings. They can compete in club contests. They can speak during business discussions. They're counted as one of the active members. They make up the quorum. They have so many rights. So it really doesn't make sense to have them maintain a dual status of honorary as well as a regular member.
But by this, we cannot announce in the meeting, or we can introduce them as honorary. With Full count also.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your question.
I mean, if they've been transferred as a Toastmasters, but still they are honorary for the club. So in this case, we cannot introduce them as a honorary member since he is turned to be a Toastmaster. Is it this point you are saying, or we can at least specify them in the meetings and show that these are.
Well, if he becomes a regular member in the same club in which he or she is already an honorary member, then you have to drop the honorary status. It doesn't make sense really, because as I said, that the full rights of the membership are already available to the member. So yeah, if the person is a member, as an honorary member in some other club, and a regular member in another club, that's perfectly fine. It's all right. Does that answer your question, Lydia Mona?
Yes, thank you, sir.
Right. Okay, welcome. Thank you very much. All right, so now the honorary members, it's again, it's an issue for some clubs, but as I said, I hope we've clarified some of those questions that you may have. New member fees. Now, this is something which is, again, a little bit of a complicated subject in many clubs, because in some clubs, they've worked out the computation of this new member fee when the club was formed 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, when the circumstances were different. Right now, if a new member joins, what we have to pay Toastmasters International is just the new member fees of $25 plus $45 for a 6-month term, or pro rata for the number of months which we are going to pay in that particular semi-annual period. So that, but then some clubs also charge a fee to join the club. For example, when the club was being established, maybe they invested in a lot of educational materials, and so that cost is shared by the members. So they add on that cost to the new member fees. So this is perfectly permitted, but then, as I said, it needs to be reviewed. But is it still relevant? Because this was maybe relevant 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, but not now. So please review this each time an ex-con takes over. Don't do something just because it was being done by the previous officers or the previous members of the club. So please review it, and here, then you can maybe make some concession in these hard days for people and make it easier for them, give them some incentive by reducing the new member fees, which may be already on your constitution and outdated. So the club dues, again, it depends. This can be, when we're having virtual meetings, yes, you can change it. And then once we go back to, the in-person meetings, you can change it once again. There is these options, this addendum can be changed any number of times. So please don't be, concerned about how difficult it is. The main thing is, if you have an active club, active members in attendance, it's quite easy to conduct a business meeting. All right, so we move on, if we can. Yeah, reinstatement fee. Now, this is something which some clubs charge, because there are members who, for example, they leave Bahrain and then they stop being a member of our club. And after a couple of years, they come back and they want to join the club again. And so instead of charging them the new members' fees, we say, okay, this person is coming back. So we can then just give them the a discounted fee. So we can use this article to specify that fee. And if there is no such reinstatement fee, then we can just simply specify 0. Transfer fee. So some clubs, because again, they feel that, once again, if they've had some costs, which they pass on to every new member that joins the club, they also want to make sure that members who transfer from some other club into their club also share in that cost, and that can be also specified here in case this is applicable, charge it or just zero, right? Yeah. Inactive member fees or dues. Now there are some people. Yes, DTM Mona.
Yes, regarding transferring member from a club to club. I believe that there is no rules that ask or tie the member to at least inform the club that he's transferring from. Is it true?
Well,
only ethic? Is it only an ethic, or it is a rule that he should inform the club that he's transferring from this club to another?
Well, it is specified in the Constitution that if a member is moving from one club to the other, they should take a letter from any of the ex-com members of the club that they're leaving, showing their status in the club, saying there is a member in good standing, the fees has been paid up until this month, and this is the way it has to be done. That's the procedure which has been prescribed. So you can call it like a requirement of a rule. It is a rule to be followed. And of course, it is just the basic courtesy that a member should show by following this procedure.
But DTM Tiaz, we have some cases 2 years back that some members are transferring themselves from a club to another, and the home club they get surprised where this member disappeared, and then they discovered that this member has been transferred by himself. He transferred himself to another club. Where in TI they don't ask for this application that you mentioned.
That is true. The TI does not enforce this rule, unfortunately. So because for them, what they are always looking at is whether the fees have been, the member is in good standing, if their fees have been paid up. And then if they get a request from one club VP membership saying that this member is now part of this new club, and they expect that the due process has been followed, and that the two clubs have been have communicated regarding this transfer. But there are certain members who do that. So, but Toastmasters, again, they do not enforce this rule. So this is something which we have to accept. Unfortunately, it's not. They don't lay it down. They don't ask for documentation. Maybe they don't want to be overloaded with the administrative work, because they just check to see if that particular member is a member in good standing, whether their dues have been paid up, and it has now been transferred from Club A to Club B. So this is the reality.
But how? What about the active members in the club and at that time? Does they mention that they will include him in the number of active members, even if after transferring within the limit of the time, or it is just be transferred immediately? So, like for example, now if I pay my fees from September to from October, I believe to March, and in January I transfer myself from this club, from X club to Y club.
Okay.
Now X club, they will be shortage of one member, and Y club will be add one member. So how it will look like, and are they? I'm being counted since the moment I transferred, or I will be counted from the next payment?
No, immediately, the moment you transfer, so that the head count will be transferred to Club Y. So it will not show, as far as Toastmasters International is concerned, the moment they get the application, they make the transfer, and that's it. So Toastmaster X will be short of one member. Toastmaster Club Y will be plus one member.
So what's happened will if it is the DCB points? Let us say if my payments was in April, and I transferred on August or July. So that means the club will get their DCB points or not, as if they are 20 members. And if I transfer, they will be 19 now. I know it's a complicated thing, but it came to my mind.
Yeah, it is very, very complex situations. Yes, definitely. Yeah, it depends on the date it is recorded in Toastmasters International. Yeah. Okay.
So this all should be shared by them. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. It's a very important aspect when all the clubs are striving to meet their DCPs. So, but I think it's the members' responsibility to follow the protocol. It's very important. By talking about protocol, I have actually exceeded my time, my protocol. So I'm already in the red. So can I just carry on for another 5 minutes and I'll conclude my session? Is that okay? And the rest of the questions we'll take later on.
Yes, 5 minutes more. That means
Yes,
because we answer all the questions from your side.
So I will not take questions during the Q&A. That's fine. Maybe after the meeting. Okay. All right. So then the inactive members due. This is, again, you can specify this could be exactly only the Toastmasters International due. But beware here because inactive members, some members, they misuse this. So the club can have their own house rules, to specify the conditions in which people can apply for inactive membership. So we have somebody who becomes inactive for 3 months, they come back for 1 month, then they go again inactive. And so this is something which, these type of members you need to talk to them, but better to have a policy, a provision to limit this type of behavior. Yeah, so this is again, article number 9 is about regular meetings. Again, very important to report if there is a change. If you're going to change your meeting venue permanently from, for example, Hotel X to Hotel Y, this needs to be reported immediately to Toastmasters International because this has to be updated and reflected on the TI website. Okay. So now we talk, this again is something which the club needs to decide. How often do the executive committee meetings meet? At least once a month, once a week, twice a week, twice a month. It's up to you. Here's another important point about additional officers. In addition to the 7 officers in an ExCom, the club can appoint additional officers. Some clubs appoint, for example, an auditor. Some would appoint a librarian. Some would appoint, whatever which suits them, like an additional sergeant at arms. Because if the load is too high, you have one sergeant at arms to do everything. But unfortunately, you can appoint any number of additional officers, but Toastmasters International gives the credit only to one person. For example, if you have 2 sergeant at arms, only one of them gets credit. One workaround to make this is you have one sergeant at arms if you meet twice a month. So that means your office terms are once for every 12 months. You can change your sergeant at arms every 6 months. So that way both of them can get the credit. But this is a very, very nice provision in case you feel the need for some special person to be on board with the ExCom. This is perfectly possible. Okay. Yeah, the terms of office, you can choose to be either every 6 months or every year, right? And Robert's rules of order are what we follow. And in case we don't, then we have no provision. There are other parliamentary procedures. We can specify those in this article. right? So this is another important thing here. See how powerful the power of the secretary. Any change to these addendum requires, of course, once it's been approved through a proper resolution and parliamentary procedures, just the club secretary needs to sign this and forward it to Toastmasters International Headquarters. With this, I have come to the end of my presentation, and thank you for your attention. So do let me know if you have any queries even after this workshop. I will be very happy to share my knowledge and experience. So back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Okay, one question before I forget. Like when a member is transferring from one club to another club, is there any permission to take from the existing ExCom, or by the person himself can be transferred to the another club?
This is a similar question posed by DTM Mona. And according to the Constitution, this person who wants to transfer membership is supposed to follow a procedure wherein they take a statement from the ExCom of the club that they're leaving to show their status in the club, that they are a member in good standing, and also it shows to show how much, whether their fees have been paid. So, but this is not a requirement for the transfer to happen. So if the new club receives an application from a member who wants to transfer, they just file the application, Toastmasters International accepts it. So it's not a procedure which is enforced. It is just recommended, advised, but unfortunately not enforced. It's not a hard and fast requirement. So that's why members take this easy way of, especially, it used to be difficult in the earlier days when you had to send your application by mail, by snail mail, but not anymore, because online it's so easy and so quick. So it happens instantly, and Toastmasters International doesn't ask if that procedure has been followed or not.
Sorry to interrupt, but I would like to request the speaker to kindly wrap up.
I'm done. I said I hand it over to the Master of Ceremonies. So that's it.
Yes, okay. We have any questions, so yes, Master of Ceremony. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
I know it's a lot of time, so there were a few questions for DTM Imtiaz, and I have sent it to you in your WhatsApp as requested. And for the other questions, should I ask it now? Like, do we have time for that?
Yes, we have 5 minutes at least.
Okay, fine.
We have Khurram here, and Wafai, I believe that she's still here.
Okay. So if any others need to ask your questions here, you can please raise your hands and then you can ask your questions here. Yes, TTM Khalid Abdullah.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremony. It's not a question, it's just a clarification on what DTM Mona just said on the transfer members. The transfer members, as what DTM Imtiaz said, yes, you would see the transfer member in the new club, and that transfer member would be missing from the original club, but that would not change the membership as such. So, and this happened in real right now. We have without mentioning the club names, the last term there was a club that was chartered and 9 members were transferred from elsewhere, but that did not affect the base itself. So the base was the same, but of course in reality the members were transferred to the new clubs without impacting either of the club base. So that's the answer to your question. So they would not be counted, the transfer members would not be counted as the new members as such the new club, but they are transferred members. So I hope this clarifies the point.
Yes, this is what I was in doubt because I read this somewhere. But DTM Khalid also, now I believe that anybody would like to join a club, there should be also voting whether they will accept this member or not. By transferring himself by himself, I think no requirements from the new club to be transferred?
For the new club, the vice president of membership, assuming now this is not, of course, a chartering of a club, as what DTMT has already said, there are, of course, something in the club constitution, but this is not really followed. And again, I'm talking from experience. There was a transfer member being there in one of the clubs that I belong to. Of course, the voting has happened to accept the member in there, but the formality of whether this happened on the other club, I don't think that happened. The vice president of membership just sent the application to TI, and then that happened. As long as the new club is accepting and the member is also willing to transfer, that happens. But I'm sure the TMTS is already aware.
So that means the member himself cannot transfer himself from a club to another club, except it should be by the new club to accept.
The new club has to accept.
Okay, great.
Yes, DTMTS.
Yeah, thank you very much, Judy, for clarifying, especially the transfer of membership, very important subject. And about, this is something which is very important point about voting a member into the club. The very first article of the Constitution talks about the composition of members and the procedure, the process. Membership to Toastmasters clubs is only through invitation. And every member, whether it's a new member or a transfer member, has to be elected, actually voted into the club. So this is, when we started meetings, we used to ask the guest who wanted to become a member to leave the room, and then we would have a discussion. And I have been part of meetings where membership was actually denied to a certain person because they were coming with some kind of history, some baggage. This is definitely in the best interest of the club. And that is a procedure according to the Constitution. Unfortunately, this is not followed by most clubs. Membership has got to be through a vote. A majority of the club members have got to vote this member in, whether it is a new member or a transfer member or a reinstated member, it doesn't matter. Back to you, DTM Khan.
Request the Master of Ceremony to keep the floor open for Q&A session for the previous two speakers, as we have exceeded the time for the presentation.
Toastmaster Dinesh has raised his hand.
How many questions we have still, Master of the Day?
Actually, there was one question for DTM Khurram, and I have sent the question to him. So in case we didn't get any time. And just two questions, 2 or 3. Yeah, just 2 or 3.
Okay, can I raise a motion to extend this meeting or this workshops event 5 minutes more? Anybody will second? Or I know that will be also the praying time. Anybody's I've got hands raised by DTM Imtiaz and Dinesh. Is it a question or seconding my motion?
I think if I may, DTM Mona, maybe we can just wrap up very quickly and have the very quick answers to the questions, if I may. What do you think, DTM Mona? Because we have a prayer after. I think everyone is looking.
2 minutes for that question, or 3 minutes, and then 2 minutes for the thanks.
Okay. So let's go rapid fire question and answer.
Okay, so if I may, I'll take the questions that were directed to me by the Toastmaster Dinesh.
Thank you, DTM Khurram.
Yes.
Shall I speak?
Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, DTM Khurram. My question was, in your presentation, you stated that if someone second the motion, it's not you completely agreed with the motion. But in my opinion, if I am suppose a motion raised by DTM Khalid, and if I am agree with the motion, then I will second.
So the way that works, Tanisha, is I was just mentioning, usually that is how it happens, that people will only second the motion that they agree with. But I just wanted to point it out that it's not necessary that your person agree with, because you want to say back and forth. Maybe you're neutral on the matter, right? It's just putting it in front of the council that it's worth considering. So let's talk about it instead of just discarding it from the very beginning. And then answer your second question as well, because I got it in written form. The quorum for the district council is third of presidents and VPEs combined both. So it doesn't have to be presidents and VPEs, it's presidents or VPEs. So if there's 146 plus 146 presidents and VPEs, you divide the sum by 3, you get 97, and that's how you get the quorum. So in attendance as well, if you have 97 presidents or VPEs, your quorum is complete.
Thank you.
Yes, Toastmaster. Dinesh, I hope all your questions are done. Do you have anything else?
No, thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, Toastmaster Asha.
Good morning. I want to know, is there a specific quorum for the business session from the ExCom? We are 7 ExCom members, right? Is there any minimum requirement for the business session to take place in the meeting?
If I may, it is the district ExCom is also the half of the quorum present. So if you've got 4 officers coming out of the 7, you've got the quorum. But of course, being the ExCom, that's the usual practice as to how it's applied. And I can be corrected if I'm not right. And that's how it is. So 50% of that as well. 50% plus 1, I mean.
So if we don't have 4, we cannot run the business session for that meeting?
No, so you do run the business session, you take decisions, you vote as you normally would, but the decisions then have to be ratified. Ratification is a process where if you don't meet the quorum, you still take decisions, but then you let the quorum make decisions on it later on. DTM Wafa can elaborate.
Yes, I may add something on that.
Yes.
I may add something. The point is that some people are confused between the decision that the ExCom can take. Now, actually, the ExCom will take decisions between them, but these decisions should be presented in front of the council to be counted. The ExCom are just managing, but any decision should be taken. It's not by the ExCom, it's by the council, and this is very important to know. The operation-wise doesn't matter unless there is something related to the council should be voted by the council, not by the ExCom.
Okay, Toastmaster Asha. I hope all your questions are clarified.
I think she has one more question, but I don't know what happened.
Okay. Toastmaster Asha, are you there?
I think by this we are exceeding the time. Can we have
one more question. You had mentioned we normally have 2 meetings every month, the 2nd Friday and the 4th Friday. And both the meetings we've been having business sessions. Is it okay if we have only 1 business session in a month, like you had said?
This depends on the amendment that you put that the DTM MTS was talking about, that you want your officers to meet monthly, you want your officers to meet weekly, you want your officers to meet 6 times a year. This is, you will put it in your amendment. It was called bylaws before. When you charter the club, you will fill it. So as per that, it can be amended, it can be changed, but based on that, you will run your officers meeting. You can run it twice a year. It's the decision of the club.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Any other questions, you can send it later to whomever you want to ask it. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you all enjoyed the sessions. I just would like to thank DTM Khurram, DTM Wafa, and DTM Imtiaz. Thank you so much for such an informative session. Next, I would like to call upon DTM Mona for the vote of thanks. Ma'am, please.
Thank you.
What about the photographs? What about the photographs?
The photographs you always we are taking the photographs between time to time. Don't worry. Anybody is opening their cameras, we are getting those shots. Our moderator is active. Now, can we have the share? Toastmaster Raja. Can you share with me the? Now, at the end of these sessions, you get an answers for all your questions. What is a quorum, not a quorum? What is, how about my opinion was not taken? And many questions that we feel that there is no justice, where we are not following the rules. Now, after this 3 hours and a half, I believe everyone at least got something back with him to his club or her club to share, to even try to follow these rules, to get more organized meetings, more organized workshops, more beneficial time, and achieving more in less time. Now, I would like to send my thanks from bottom of my heart to our Surgeon at Arm, Toastmaster Blesson, to be with us today as a Chief Surgeon at Arm. And thanks also will go for, I have it in my mind, but I want to follow the, okay. So our smart, beautiful flower, Toastmaster Rincy, and who loved French fries. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Rincy, for leading these workshops in a success, I mean, and very proud of you to have you with us today. Our timer, Toastmaster Salman Sagar, thank you so much for managing the time for all of us. I know that some of us gave you some trouble, but you was under control and you are patient with us. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Salman Sagar. Now, our privilege to have our dignitaries, starting with DTM Forum Salman. Thank you so much, DTM Forum Salman, to be with us today to share some from your knowledge and some from your experience. Thank you so much. Second dignitary goes to DTM Wafa Salman. When I see this name, actually, my heart starts beat faster. And I always will learn something from DTM Wafa. As much as we attend her meetings, as much as we attend her workshops, but she is a professional. She brings all the information in very easy way. This is the way that a trainer do. Thank you, DTM Wafa Salman, for having you with us today. DTM Tiaz, I know how much you are busy schedule. You have a busy schedule, and in a short notice, you didn't say no. You said yes for sure. And this is the leadership, and this is the leader that we know in Toastmaster and specific DTM Imtiaz Ahmed. Thank you Thank you, thank you. Our privilege to have you with us today and share from your knowledge. Now, for all these people who work with me, and no one did know how much we worked for these workshops. We will start with our head of education, Toastmaster Junita Mariam John, who take this position as head of education, and she was following every small things and make sure that it will come in a perfect way. Thank you, Toastmaster Junita Mariam John. Toastmaster Fatma Zainal, Head of Registration, thank you so much for your patience. Thank you so much for your following up for all the members, all the clubs, and trying to get more registration. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Fatma Zainal. Now, Toastmaster Bahiba, I make for her little headaches, but this is the PR. Marketing, PR, always get headaches, and we are always asking more and more, and they are so patient with us that they will edit everything that we are asking. They will, they have a big heart, they have patience, and they have also follow the branding. Thank you, Toastmaster Bahiba, to be with us today as Head of Public Relations. Now this guy, I know him now more and more. He's, mashallah, very active. Whenever I ask him something, I cannot reach anyone, he say, okay, ma'am, I will do it. And he surprised me with things that even I never asked. And he say, how about this? I've done it. He's in advance. Before we ask, he's doing his what can I do? What can I say? Toastmaster Raja, you just no words can say thank you to Toastmaster Raja today, to the efforts that he've done with and the follow-ups with everybody. He's my right hand today in these workshops. Thank you, Toastmaster Raja. Now this certificate, I believe that I deserve it, as we could bring these 3 dignitaries to share their knowledge. This was a big success for me that these 3 guys or 3 dignitaries accept the request. And with the whole team, we work together and we know each other more, and we have a great time. Thank you, DTM Mona, to make this real. Thank you, everyone. And by this, I would like to adjourn the meeting, the workshop. You can stop recording, this Mr. Raja.